Ghana on Facebook, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation as well, and around the country on our 16 regional radio stations. You can listen to us live there. My guest this morning that my team have empaneled expertly on my immediate left is Awal Mohammed, who's member for NPP's communications team. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay. Dr. Kweku Anani Jinde is lecturer Gimpa Law School and corporate governance expert as well. Dr. Jinde, good morning. Welcome back to the table.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm well, sir. Great. And at the table as well is Trinibu Akodua Esquire, who is a private legal practitioner, lawyer. Kodua, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you, sir. Also joining us on Zoom for perspectives on the legal side of things, international legal side of things, is Benedicta Agyemang Esquire. She's a U.S. immigration lawyer in Massachusetts, and she joins us live from there. Hi, Benedicta. Good morning to you. And
good morning.
Great to hear from you. I'll begin with you, Benedicta, because you've had the burning questions that's been taking center stage this entire week after we had the whole green card issue for the former finance minister. I'd like you to take us through how this green card even, was acquired. What is the process like? Are there other forms of acquiring a green card as compared to how the former finance minister acquired this green card? We saw the press release from his lawyers, and I'm just going to read through just a bit of it just before you come in. It said that Minka Primo, Osei Bonsu, Bruce Kithling, and partners, the Ken Ofori-Atta's green card I-485 petition had been granted by the U.S. Immigration Court, and the court had evidence relating to actions taken by Ghana's Office of the Special Prosecutor, including the OSP's earlier decision to declare Mr. Ofori-Atta fugitive from justice at the time when he was reportedly undergoing the medical treatment in the United States, and while his lawyers remained in communication with investigators in Ghana. The court finds the criminal charges in Ghana not credible. However, the court's ruling was made within the context of a United States immigration proceeding, and so the court's decision was focused on whether Mr. Ofori-Atta met the legal requirements for adjustment of his status. And his status, and this is signed by Justice Kusi Minka Primo Esquire, solicitors for Ken Ofori-Atta, dated 16 June 2026. And this green card issue, or his status, is something that has been part of the conversation before we saw this press release, and he got the green card. Benedicta?
Yeah. Good morning once again, and happy Father's Day in advance to my wonderful panelists.
Absolutely.
And everyone else in the studio who is a man. So, paths to green card in the U.S. There are several paths to green card. Notably, it's through an immediate relative. That's one option. Anyone who is a U.S. citizen can petition for their parent, child, or spouse. That is the immediate relative route. In this case, reportedly, Ken Ofori-Atta's son, who is a U.S. citizen, petitioned for him. The requirement for that is that the petitioner, that's the child, in order to petition for your parent, has to be over 21 years. Now, if you guys remember, right after our current President Trump came into power, he wanted to introduce something that would overturn birthright citizenship, because that was something that was happening often, that people's children would file for them when they turn 21. So this is not uncommon at all. As a matter of fact, this is one way that most people get their green cards in the US, right? Most people come and have children and plan for the next 21 years that after 21 years, my child would petition for me. So that's very straightforward. Just be a US citizen, just be born here, and just prove that the person is your parent, right? Do a birth certificate, sometimes DNA, sometimes other things, and be like, okay, I am petitioning for this person. Other ways that you can get a green card is through marriage. If you marry a US citizen or a green card holder, if you've been established through the whole process, then you can get a green card through that. Alternatively, people get it through the work route. So some people come to the US, they go to school. After school, they probably do the H-1B. After H-1B, their job can apply for them to get a green card through EB-1, EB-3, Also, another way people can get a green card in the US is to self-petition. It's called EB-2 NIW, the National Interest Waiver. You're basically telling the US government, in the interest of the US government, that's called national interest. In your national interest, give me a green card and waive the requirement for me to have a job. So, for example, if I magically came up with a solution to solve cancer, or I magically came up with something that's really going to benefit the US and really going to benefit everyone, I can be like, you know what, give me a green card so that I'll use my intellect, I'll use my plans, I'll use my visions to better the US in your national interest and waive the requirement for me to get a job. Another way that people can also get a green card in the US is through the investment route. It was the EB-5 investment visa. Earlier this year, it was changed to President Trump's gold card, but that's the same concept that, okay, if you have a certain amount of money and you can prove that you're going to invest in the US, you can prove that you're going to better the lives of people in the US, you can get a green card through that. Another way that people can get a green card is the diversity visa lottery, which is currently suspended, but that was one way a lot of people were using to get a green card. Also, if you apply for asylum and the asylum is granted, after 1 year of your asylum being granted, you can apply for a green card. If you're in immigration proceedings and you apply for something like for EOIR 42B, you can also get a green card. So there are a variety of ways that people get green cards in the US. However, being petitioned for by immediate family member, just like Keno Foriata, is a very common way.
Interesting. So what does it mean for the status? How complex or simple is it for him to become a citizen now that he's gotten the green card, or automatically he has become a citizen?
No, you don't automatically become a citizen. There are several requirements. Number one, you have to be a green card holder for 5 years in this case.
Okay.
If he had married a US citizen, and he had been married to that person for at least 2 years, then he could have gotten it within 3 years. But if you get it through being petitioned for your son, you have to be a green card holder for 5 years, number one. Number two, there's a residency requirement, right? Because you expect that somebody who is a citizen of a place actually resides there for more times than not. So they actually require that you stay, if you leave the country, you come back preferably within 6 months. They may allow it up until a year, but you have to prove why. So I have several clients, for example, who said they were in Ghana and are undergoing treatment, and they have medical notes to show that they didn't come back for a reason. But typically, they expect that as a green card holder, if you leave the US, you come back within 6 months, or at the most a year. After a year, they start to deem that you are abandoning your US residency. Thirdly, they also require that at least half of the time that you are applying for your citizenship, you should actually be in the US. So in this case, he can apply after 5 years. They would require that he has resided in the US for at least 2.5 years. Fun fact, they actually count the dates. I had somebody come to me and they were like, according to our records, you left the US this day and you came back this day, and that is X amount of days. So per our calculation, you haven't met the residency requirement. So that actually counts the requirement. Now they also require that you have good moral character. That is that you pay your taxes. And also, probably very important for this case, that you do not have any convictions that they deem good moral character within their allotted time. So what most people, for example, if you've been convicted of alcohol, if alcoholism, driving under the influence or anything like that, you don't have any convictions within the relevant time.
Interesting. And we talked about his immigration status as well and his legal issues. Does getting this green card have any bearing on, I understand you say that he has to stay in the US a certain period of time to do all the calculations, but does that have any bearing on if he's able to come back to Ghana to finish up or pursue the legal issues that are on him?
So yeah, if he comes back to Ghana and then he comes back into the US within 6 months, he's fine. Okay. Alternatively, if he comes back to Ghana and let's say no one knows, let's say he gets incarcerated, right? Then he can be like, I couldn't come back because I was incarcerated. So this has no bearing. If this has no bearing on him coming back to Ghana to do what he has to do.
Thank you, Benedicta. I will definitely come back to you on some more questions. Very interesting, but I want to pick Lawyer Trinibua Kodie's thoughts as well. Lawyer, I'm sure you've heard what Benedicta has said from her immigration perspective and what the green card means as well. What are your initial thoughts about when he acquired the green card and what the lawyers have said? They have also made the point that they have not, the U.S. Justice Department has not gotten back to Ghana. That's the Office of the Special Prosecutor. I did hear also that there's no district court in the U.S. that has the case against Mr. Ofori-Atta.
Yeah, so relative to the acquisition of the green card, we have learned this morning. I think before we even came, I believe all of us may have read, and we know that the green card does not insulate him from whatever it is that we as a country wants to pursue against him. And so whatever the merits are may be to his benefits, but not to the detriment of the country, as far as whatever investigations or whatever accountability we would want him to come and respond to is concerned. And so I will be brief. Green card, yes. Maybe the public excitement was that having acquired a green card, it meant that he was running away from justice. It meant that he would never come back to Ghana. But we learned that that is not the case. I do not even believe that that is his intention, that he wanted to acquire a green card in order to abscond from justice. I don't want to believe so. He hasn't said so. We all know that, unless maybe the contrary is shown, that he went there and the explanation was that he had to pursue medical treatment, which we do. Private citizens do, public citizens do. It is his right so to do. And so maybe for those of us who felt or who were thrown in the state of discomfiture that having acquired a green card, then it means that the battle is ended. Maybe if there was a battle, that is not the case from what we learn and what we know. And so whatever it is that we want to do, if indeed we are minded to do, we can still go ahead and do them. If I heard my sister correctly, meant that acquisition of green card may also mean that there are times he may have to come to Ghana and then go back. And so there is the possibility that we will see him again for whatever his presence would mean to us. And so this will be my initial
Are you
comments.
surprised, though, that they said that no district court in the U.S. has been petitioned by Ghana?
I wouldn't be surprised. If I would be surprised if I learn the reason why Ghana has not done that. If there is an intent or if there is a need so to do. But sitting here, I don't think I am surprised.
Right. Yes. The OSP's office, it says that, well, the U.S. Justice Department has not gotten back to Ghana. So it begs the question that they didn't file it in any district court, but they reached out to the U.S. Justice Department. And also, in what way did they reach out to the U.S. Justice Department? But in your purview, legally, what would have been the fastest way to be able to get through to the authorities in the U.S. about Mr. Ofori-Atta's case?
No, first of all, I would want to find out what would be the need to even seek a route, whether fast, slow, I mean, in pursuing him, if there is any. So we need to answer for ourselves as a country. I know that when Mr. Ofori-Atta left office in February 2024, we all knew, even prior to that, that he had some ailments. And then shortly after the government, and I believe that during the time of his office, there was even a time he had to sojourn outside in pursuit of medical treatment.
Right.
In those days, I don't think the narration was that he was doing so because he wanted to abscond from accountability or public scrutiny. So why would we now think that after he had left office, he was going to run away from justice?
Because there are corruption allegations slapped against him.
Yes, and we could also look at it from another perspective, that it was a continuation of what he had earlier begun. Yes. And so for me, I would want to find out the basis for wanting to taking an expedited route, or they say that the wheels of justice grind slowly. I don't think that there should be haste in this. We shouldn't be engineered or agitated by public excitement that because we want to do ABC. You know, even though we say that the wheels of justice grind slowly, the flip side of it also is that justice hurried. They say it's justice buried. If you run too fast, you might ignore a lot of things. So for me, I don't even want to propose the route. I want to ask ourselves as a nation, do we need to be that agitated or excited in our pursuit of what we, in our mind, is justice? Okay. I believe that, in my conclusion, I would say that these are matters that we even need to tread cautiously. Yes, we need to do that, yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me come to the Honorable Baldria. Honorable, are you picking up sentiments that there's a loss of confidence among Ghanaians as to how your administration is pursuing this issue because of what you promised that you do versus how, is it the wheels of justice are grinding slowly, or how you're not fast-tracking reaching out to the authorities in the U.S. to extradite the former finance minister or to conclude this case?
Well, let me say good morning also to viewers and listeners as well. And I apologize for arriving late. I think that the initial reaction of a lot of Ghanaians when this issue about his green card status, came to light was to say as if he had been freed from any further trial or investigation regarding the subject matter for which is being sought by the Ghanaian authorities. But as this has been clearly explained, it has nothing to do with the request by Ghana to have him prosecuted before the courts over allegations of corruption and causing financial loss to the state. I can understand the zeal of Ghanaians to have this expeditiously dealt with. But as we have said, the saying over the years has always been that justice must not be hurried. It must, be seen to be fair and just. So I think that what the Ghanaian authorities are doing is to ensure that all the necessary avenues and options and opportunities have been given to the suspect, to make his case. You should also know that because he's outside the country and is not readily available, there are certain steps which need to be taken. And these steps, are not things that you can immediately get up one day and say that, bring me Mr. Ofori-Atta. Well, you are going to deal with another sovereign state, which will have to make sure that the request or whatever it is goes through and meets the standards of their law. So the delay ought not to be blamed on Ghanaian authorities as if they were doing nothing about it. They have indicated clearly that they have an interest in bringing Mr. Ofori-Atta for trial. So I will urge Ghanaians to remain confident that nobody is above the law. Nobody can get away having looted the public purse. And if these allegations, are true, as the authorities so say, steps are being taken to ensure that he is brought back. So I will urge Ghanaians to be patient. I am sure that in due course, the necessary processes will produce the results that we want, i.e., bringing Mr. Ofori-Atta down here before the Ghanaian courts for trial, so that we will know whether or not it is true, whether or not there is evidence to the effect that Mr. Ofori-Atta actually carried out or engaged in the allegations for which he's being sought after.
Because I talk about confidence because the NPP is even alleging that they don't know if Madam Sedinata Maklo is in jail. As this administration has said, they claim that you don't do convictions. You can even start a case, but you don't do convictions under any of your administrations, and in the end, it happens under their watch. And so the confidence is dwindling among Ghanaians. That's what they have said. They said they are even putting together a team to find out where Madam Sedina Tamakloe is?
Well, but you know, Ghana is a country of law. There is no way a convict who has been convicted can be left, you know, not to service his or her
So
term.
she's in jail as we speak?
I believe so. I believe he's in jail. I cannot say for certain, but she ought to be in jail. So I have no reason to think that she is not in jail at all. And so if they have the evidence that Sedina Tamakloe is not in jail, they should provide that evidence and let us have it. That is up to them to provide the evidence. There have been several convictions under the NDC. Our own Abuga Pele was convicted under the NDC government. You see, so it is not he was put under trial. He was put under trial by the NDC. He was eventually convicted.
Abuga Pele was put under trial under the NDC,
Exactly.
but not convicted
Our
under the
own Abuga
NDC.
Pele. So that's clear that the NDC government, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be an NDC man or the other side, the MPP. The important thing is that if there is evidence to support allegations of wrongdoing or defrauding or causing loss to the state or whatever it may be, anything that has hurt the public purse, you will be brought before trial. And that's exactly what the NDC is doing.
Okay. Well, let me pick your initial thoughts on Mr. Ofori-Atta's green card acquisition, what it means, and also your party saying that you are looking for Madam Sedina Tamakloe. You don't believe in the judicial system. It's something that your party has been saying for quite some time now, and so you don't give any oxygen to even how this administration is handling extraditing Mr. Ofori-Atta to face justice.
Thank you so much, and good morning to our cherished viewers and my co-panelists, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I think we have never, we've not said it anywhere that we don't trust the judiciary, but we said we don't trust the government in how he's handling these cases, because if you look at it together with the police, because if you see how they are handling this, it is not a government that officially told the people of this country that Sedina is in this country. It was a confirmation from the U.S. Embassy in Ghana that indeed they had done their part of the bargain. She's in this country. Then the Minister for Government Communications put out on his Facebook page that they have given her to the police and prisons officers. And we asked the question that even common criminals, when they are arrested, the police will update this country on their Facebook page with pictures. They never snap any picture of her. So we're asking where the pictures are when she got to Kotoka.
You don't even trust that she's in the country? Is that
We
what you
now
mean?
trust because U.S. Embassy has given us the confirmation that they have brought her back into this country.
Okay.
So we don't have any cause to doubt. But you see, the way the government is handling it, the government did not give us the confirmation. It was first confirmed by U.S. government before the government Minister for Government Communications came with that statement that she's with the police and they are examining her for her to start her sentencing, her jail term in Nsawam or any other prisons. Now we are asking the question that why is the police not updating us that she's with them? That's the first question we are asking.
Okay.
Why is it that there are no pictures of her at least arriving in this country? Have you imagined that if it was Ken Ofori-Atta who had come into this country, there would be live coverage of Ofori-Atta coming into this country? But for us, I speak right now, nobody has been able to cite a single picture of her.
It hasn't happened
Now,
yet. Wow.
now, after 10 days of everyone saying that we don't know where she is, to the extent that Superintendent Latif, the prison's PR, spoke to Joy News last Saturday and told them that he has to confirm whether she is with them or not. After 10 days, then we had Franklin Kujo telling us that she is under house arrest, and he got that information from a highly influential person within government when he asked where her location is. So practically she was brought into this country and she's in her house and the police is guarding the house. That's practically what the Ghanaian will see.
And it's legally incorrect for that to happen?
Yes, but the lawyers are here. I have been a court reporter for 3 years for Ghana News Agency. And anytime someone is convicted, the person starts his jail term. That's the same day.
Okay.
So why is she in this country and she's not really serving her jail term? We don't know where she is. You ask the Minister for Government Communication, she says she's with prisons. Which of the prisons? We do not know. You, the media, don't even know where she is right now. So that's the question. Then to Ken Ofori-Atta, let's really put this on record, that Ken Ofori-Atta did not abscond from this country. Ken Ofori-Atta, when he was leaving this country, knowing that he served as Minister for Finance, he sought permission from the current Chief of Staff that he is going to seek for medical care. As Lawyer Chulubo Akodia said, in 2021, it had to take Chief Sabosu to even read the budget because he was unwell and he was out of the country. So indeed, he had some underlying ailments and so on. He knew very well that he will be able to, he will have questions to answer. He left this country, gave a trace of where he was. He gave his address and everything to the OSP. The OSP says he needed him in this country. He told him that I'm going through a process that will be done in June. So after June, I may return. But if you need anything, this is my address. He gave his phone number, his address in the US.
What June is this? This year's June?
No, last year in 2025. He said he will go through the process. And he mentioned the hospital. He got confirmation from the hospital that indeed he will go through the process over there. Then OSP said they needed him in this country. The obsession to get him in this country is what is driving the perception that they want to persecute him. Because you see, he can still be in this country and still choose not to speak. Yes, right? He can be in this country and choose not to even speak.
But exactly. He will still be able to attend court.
The OSP was looking for him to question him, not necessarily to put him before trial. Because if you look at the 5 cases, they remain allegations except one. The one that he's standing trial with 7 other people. And it had to also take the public, including the media and these independent lawyers, to say that, what are you waiting for? Since you're saying that the allegation is between him and 7 other people. The 7 other people are in this country. Right. But the obsession that we still need him in this country. And again, you see, on him getting this green card, he was never held because of the extradition process. He had issues with ICE. And ICE put him, and said that there were some immigration issues with him. Then he was held before we even heard that indeed there is an extradition process and so on. And it's not really something that will happen within a day or 2. Look at Sedna. She was even convicted. After a conviction, we put in the request in July 2024. We're able to get her after 1 year, 11 months before we're able to get her in this country. But you see, you can ask the lawyer, she will tell you that if really they suspect even persecution, there's no way they will extradite him back into this country.
Now that he has a green card.
Even if he didn't have a green card. Because you see, he could seek asylum over there.
And you're saying that with the case he had with ICE, the detainment with ICE, had nothing to do with the Attorney General and the OSP's request to the authorities in the US.
Yes, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. That's the reason you're saying that there is no active court in US treating that case of extradition and so on. The extradition, they will have to identify where he lives. You remember when we put out the extradition for Sedna? The confirmation came in September that indeed they have received it. Then in December is when they told us that they have now tracked where she is. That was in December 2024. Then they started the process. And that process is so rigorous that in the US, they can just follow you for 10 years before they are able to do this. So that was the reason we said that this government has nothing to do with the extradition of Sedna Ntamakulu. Because we did everything and finished everything with the US government. And they said, leave the rest to us. And we left the rest to them until they are able to bring her back into this country.
Why do you make the case then that the NDC administration never truly convicts people and that they just start the trial and your administration convicts them? Because you just said that it could take 10 years.
Yes, I'm saying that it depends on the nature of the case and how the U.S. wants to be rigorous in doing that, because they do not want to hand over someone who will be persecuted in a country like this country. You see, one thing that
this country is known for persecution.
Yes, but you see,
persecution of
one thing that I know is that if the lawyers, I'm not a lawyer, but if the lawyers are to even pull videos of the Attorney General's press conferences, numerous press conferences, to even say that this is the reason we don't want our client back into that country, they will accept it. Because you see, this is the first time we are having an Attorney General grant interviews, address press conferences before he goes to court.
Fact that
it has never happened.
Yes, and
it doesn't happen anywhere in the world.
Well,
because you see,
is it legally wrong for that to happen?
It is not, but
it may
you see,
be alien to Ghana, to other countries, but is it legally wrong for him to do that?
Our laws are clear that all trial must be done in public. That's the reason all attorney generals will send the case to court. Then the public will be there, the media will be there to cover it. You don't need to persecute people. Look at Hanan. He told us that there are houses and so on that belong to Hanan and so on. As I speak right now, the case has not even started. They started case management. Later they felt that their case was crumbling. They had to discontinue the case and start it just last month. But he was arrested and kept behind bars for close to 2 months with his wife.
Okay, I need you to
This
land.
is persecution, not
You to land
prosecution.
for me. Okay.
You see, Attorney General under Godfrey Dame, almost all high-profile cases, he allowed that they should be given self-recognizance bails, even those who were convicted. William TVA, Bafuboni, and Alhaji Mumina. They were all given self-recognizance bails, because if you have watertight case, why do you have to use bail as a tool to punish someone, or use press conferences to bastardize the person and pronounce the person guilty?
So for you, I just want to understand, persecution may mean not how you would have handled the case as an administration if you're in government.
Not how,
because maybe you wouldn't have done press
every
conferences, and the way you would have granted bail is different, but not necessarily wrong.
We saw Attorney General in Martin Amidu. We saw Betty Mulde-Driso under the NDC. They never held any press conference. They sent the cases to courts. And again, you see, Abuga Pele, the issue, if you have read the JIDA report, the recommendations of those who should be prosecuted, it's not only Abuga Pele. The minister was also part of it. But they chose Abuga Pele because that's the weakest link.
Okay.
You call Amara Sezuri away and ask him, or better still, read the report. You could tell that in the end, they had to put him before court, because at that time, the recommendation is that prosecute them. They started, and we came, and the conviction was done in 2018. So it is not really as they painted that President Mahama started. Yes, he started the prosecution, but his hands were tight at that time, looking at the situation within the country.
But the trial still started.
It started, but I'm saying that if you check those who were supposed to be
part of the conviction,
part of the
case,
the case, it is only Abuga Pele and Asebet, and they were the weakest link.
Lawyer Jinde, let me pick your your initial comments.
Thank you very much for having me. Very good morning to my colleagues here, and then it's been a while. Before I start my teaching, there's something. I said it 4 weeks ago here.
Okay.
In 2001, former President Kufuor acquired some lands through an executive instrument for the purposes of putting up the Bui power dam that we are all benefiting from. But, you know, the law also requires that when you take people's lands compulsorily, you are also required to compensate them. But since government took over that land, constructed your Bui dam, supplying power to all parts of the country, the owners, the people whose lands were forcibly taken by law have not yet received compensation. We were in court for almost 9 years. And 4 years ago, the court made the decision that we are the rightful owners and then the compensation should be paid.
Okay.
And as I speak, no cent has been paid to the owners of those lands. And I can tell you on record, 7 of the chiefs who started the whole process, 7 of them have passed on. I was there last week, and the chiefs are agitated. So I'm using this platform to call on government to appeal to the Minister of Finance to make the payment to the owners of those lands around the Bui catchment area. So it's a plea that I'm making to government.
Okay.
Because it appears they've waited for too long and they are getting agitated now. So government should look at that. So Ken Ofori-Atta.
I also have a plea along the way.
Okay. What is it like? Is it on road? Water?
On road, yes.
Okay. I thought as much.
Okay, thank you very much. Ken Ofori-Atta, you see, the whole Ofori-Atta saga, if you want to describe it that way, you see, sometimes Ghanaians, we have to be very careful how we handle some of these things. Because our own laws says person remains innocent until proven guilty by a court or he himself admits to that guilt. So presumption of innocence is entrenched in our constitution.
Right.
So when this whole thing happened, I looked at the case and I was thinking, at a point, you see, Ghanaians, we have weakened our case as far as the extradition is concerned. And also let me state that the green card has nothing to do with this extradition.
Okay.
The fact that you have a green card does not make you immune to extradition, because we have an extradition agreement with the United States government, right? So whether you have a green card or not, that one is not a stumbling block as far as the extradition process is concerned. But you see, this whole extradition process about Ken Ofori-Atta, Ghanaians, we've weakened our case. I say this because, you see, when you put in a request to the United States government, they will look at certain things. Whether the case is purely criminal or is political persecution. And by our own conduct, and then the numerous press conferences by the Attorney General did not help our case. And if you look at what his lawyer said when he granted the interview to the BBC, he made certain very important pronouncements. I don't know how many of us have vetted our mind to that. He told the BBC reporter that, look, if Ghanaians will respect their own laws and the right of my client, I'm prepared to bring him back. So they interrogated him further. I said, for example, some unidentified people entered his house in his absence. So, per a Ghanaian law, if you want to search somebody's house, the lawyers are here, my colleagues are here, you need a search warrant. And you search in his presence so that you don't plant any incriminating evidence.
In the presence of the alleged
Yeah,
person or
yeah,
anybody representing
anybody,
the alleged person?
anybody.
Okay.
And we hear the people who went there are unidentified, and up to now we don't know them.
National security don't identify
No,
themselves.
well. National security came
Oh?
to deny. OSP came to deny that those people who went there were not from their outfit.
Oh.
This happened on 11 February 2005. And even the majority speaker, Honorable Ayariga, had to render an apology in Parliament. Government came out to say that we don't know anything about that. So that was the point the lawyer was making. That per our own law, we don't respect the rights of the suspect.
So the search was part of the reasons why. And then
This is what he
the
was
press
saying.
conferences. Okay.
And he said, in Ghana, there are laws on trespass and breach of privacy.
Right.
So this was the argument he was making. And that up to now, the people who allegedly entered that property, nobody has been able to identify them yet. And apart from that, you see, the numerous press conferences that we held, we have now shifted the whole matter from legal prosecution to political persecution.
Lajinda, what makes a justice system better? When an administration or a government updates its people on what the judicial system is doing with regards to a highly profiled corruption case, or when the country is quiet, people throw about assumptions till there's finality brought to the matter, which may also still raise questions about what process they use to arrive.
Matiti, all of us are trained communicators. I finished GIJ in 1991, and I've been practicing journalism before I decided to go and do law. You see, you can just put out the facts. Oh, these are the steps we are taking to make sure that we bring him back. But you don't run commentary.
Okay, so put out the presser or the
you just
release
put
or
out,
the...
and journalists, they want to ask you questions. But because you are trying to bring the person before court, you are very careful about your pronouncements.
Is it illegal?
No, it's not illegal, but
okay, because
it may dilute their case.
That as well, okay.
It may dilute their case. And then the second reason is that we organize demonstrations.
Yes. At the U.S. Embassy.
We have foreign embassies here. So you think they don't pick all these signals?
And I ask again, Lawyer Jinde, I ask again that it's a high-profile case. This is a former finance minister.
Yes, I know,
you don't think the U.S. authorities understand that?
No. You see, if you say that, well, it's a high-profile case. But if you are not very careful, it may weaken your case in the end. You see, all these, put it together. You know, the Interpol had earlier on put on red notice. Why did they delete the red notice? When the governing board of Interpol met, they said that, well, the case is more a probable political persecution than a criminal case. So they deleted that. So put all these things together. If you are not very careful, you may have a very good case, but the moment you begin to politicize it, you give room for others to find the loopholes and the weaknesses that that surround the whole case.
Okay.
So I think I'm of the view that anybody who embezzles or anybody who illegally or unlawfully takes government money, the person should be dealt with, because I work very hard to pay my taxes. I work very hard to pay my taxes. I close from lectures around 9:10. I get home around 11 o'clock. I cannot even eat properly. So when I pay my taxes and then somebody embezzles those taxes, I think we need to bring those perpetrators to book. But at the moment, Oforiatta is an innocent person. Nobody has convicted him of anything. What we have now are just mere allegations.
So for you, Lawyer Jinde, as well, is we are not pursuing this matter effectively. The OSP, the AG, the fact that no district court has the matter in the U.S.
Well, this is what the U.S. authorities are telling us. Because the extradition procedure in the U.S., when you put in the extradition request, it goes to the Department of State. That is their foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs. And then they will now instruct their people to do the arrest, and they put that person before a district court, and the court will determine whether there's a case for that person to answer. Even if that court makes that determination, you can appeal. And that process alone takes about it can take more than 1 year. So if they are now telling us that there's no case before them, well, I begin to, then I'm wondering what the Attorney General and then the OSP they are doing. This is their side of the story. We haven't heard from the Attorney General and then the OSP. We haven't heard from them. And you see, this whole controversy about his immigration statute has arisen because the press statement his lawyers put up. You know, you put out the press statement. My client has acquired blah, blah, blah. But the moment you begin to add that, there's the Ghanaian case, that there's no case because of lack of credibility. I mean, if you do that, a foreign authority, are we to allow foreign authorities to determine what is credible within our jurisdiction or not?
Okay.
You see, the lawyer should have just left it there. My client has been granted green card
status.
Finish. But to bring the issue of credibility, I don't think. I don't know. I'm not.
Okay.
That raises a lot of questions. Yeah.
Thank you, Lawyer Jinde. Lawyer Kodia. Trinibua Kodia.
Yes.
I'll give you a minute.
Okay, so I wanted to say that it is not out of place for an Attorney General to to decide to update the country on cases that they are doing.
Okay.
In fact, it is not even a novelty in Ghana, so we cannot say that it is only under Dr. Ines' era. In other jurisdictions, we have heard of attorneys general who address countries. I may want to read
Well,
a story.
Awal doesn't know or says that.
Yes, I just pulled a story
Okay.
where in Australia, the Attorney General had to brief the state. In this particular case, it was not a government outfit, brief the state about an ongoing case.
Okay.
Even here in Ghana, I think under the previous regime, and for the first time, I learned that the Attorney General had a spokesperson who also sometimes granted interviews relative to certain cases. And so it is not a novelty. What is worrying is what Doc has addressed,
Okay.
the content,
The commentary.
the commentary,
Okay.
giving the impression as if the person about whom the press conference is being made has been found guilty. It raises excitement in the country. So if at the end of the day you go to court and prosecution doesn't achieve conviction, I mean, it creates a problem.
The Attorney
for
General
you.
is a lawyer, and in his pronouncements, he says it like the person has, you know, been condemned or not alleged, but has done the crime.
No, he can,
committed.
he can put forth his case strongly. That as far as he's concerned, this is what they have found. These are his findings. And it is his belief that the person has done whatever it is that he alleges that they have done. But as to whether the person will be guilty or not, it doesn't lie in his mouth as an Attorney General.
Does he sound like he's pronouncing them guilty in the press conferences he's granted?
Well, I mean, I cannot say so, but I'm saying that, and Doc even said that we have to practice economy. How much information are we giving? The information shouldn't be such that the people will think or assume that the person is already guilty. Now, not only the Attorney General, and I believe that those of us who are lawyers, we are observing a trend now. When you go to the court and you are returning, you come and meet a cohort of media people who have set their cameras there. And immediately they come from court, they come and address. So it is not only the Attorney General who has been addressing people. Now they address, lawyers come and then address. One of the pieces of admonition I took from the Chief Justice, under whose tenure I was called to the bar, was that as a lawyer, we should not do our cases in the media. But it's becoming the practice and the culture now, that lawyers now come and then tell, and sometimes the commentary is so skewed that the public now takes the view that their case, I mean, they have a case, and then until we, and I believe that one of the cases that I followed through and through was the Dabdi Lumba case. You know, until one day when I advised myself that I needed to listen to both sides, then I realized that, oh, so the case was not as it was. And even in these days, there are even parties who I want to, maybe for want of a better expression, hire certain platforms to project their cases. And so I think it's a worrying trend. I don't know whether we will be able to stop it.
It's not good for us. Is this not better communication? People are not in the dark anymore. The social media, you know, we get informed quickly.
Objectivity.
Okay.
I remember I covered the 2013 election petition.
Okay.
For 6 months I was in court. And my presentation had always been that the party A says this, party B says this, and the court says this.
Okay.
Not only what one party says. And so if we come out from court and tell the public that, oh, the prosecution's case is collapsing, or has even collapsed. You are prejudging.
And so there are guiding principles for how you communicate when you come out. And who is supposed to be the one to chaperone this? The Attorney General again?
No, the Chief Justice.
The Chief Justice.
Should I even say that? First of all, inherently, the lawyer should know that they are not supposed to be.
But they are doing it.
Yes, yes.
I remember, I think about 3-4 years ago, there was some amendment in the professional etiquette rules of lawyers.
Yes.
Okay.
Prohibiting lawyers from giving public commentary.
So when they are conducting a case.
When they are conducting the case.
So for example, when you are conducting a case,
you are not
I
supposed
could
to
run
address
some commentary,
Okay.
but
But
not
not
you, the
you
lawyer,
involved.
Exactly.
in the case.
So when that was introduced, there was a reduction in that kind of commentary. But over a few years, it appears that we have gone back. So we will remember that during the election petition proceedings, the lawyers who actually were doing the case did not address
Correct.
the press.
Correct.
Okay.
There were other lawyers who kind of move along and presented the situation as it happened in court, but not those who had been announced in court as representing the parties. But over a few years, we have gone back to where we belong in the past, where a lawyer comes out of a court and is narrating what happened and trying to give judgment even before the court gives judgment.
Castigating judges.
Yes, castigating judges and even the opponents.
Yes.
So I can understand that sometimes it's good to give out information, which I think the Attorney General is doing. But like we said, we need to be mindful of the information that we give up, and especially do not give conclusions. Well, it's the court which will give the final conclusion based on the evidence put before it. And even a person still has a right to appeal against the initial conclusion of lower courts. So, yes, we must have information. We are entitled to have information. The AG is doing that. If he has gone further, maybe we may have to look at that. But I think it's important that we have information as to what is happening.
Awal mentioned something about, I'll come to you, but just let Lawyer Bardua, Honorable Bardua react. Awal mentioned handling of the cases under your administration and how bail, granting of bail and all of that is not done right. What can you say about that?
Well, I think that we have laws in this country. I don't think that the allegation is being made that whatever bail terms were granted were illegal. They were all lawful.
But there were
Depending
other
also
ways
on
that
the
could...
magnitude of the case. So the person in authority who is entitled to determine the bail terms looks at the magnitude of the case and decides, look, for me, in my judgment, I think that these requirements will be sufficient to ensure that the person appears to stand trial. It is different if the person were acting illegally. And in this instance, nobody has alleged that the authorities in respect of the matters for which bail had been granted, which have been perceived to be onerous terms, were illegal. Even courts. Court grants bail that you may not be happy with. But there's a procedure to get back to have them reviewed.
On this as well, on the other leg of this is when they say that your administration is going into nolle prosequi, quite lots of them, and plea bargaining when it comes to certain cases, and that handling of those cases is also worrying.
Yet again, that's not unusual. Even in civil matters, when you're proceeding in a matter and you think that, no, I think I need to add this, I think I have to go along this way, you are entitled to discontinue and then file a fresh one. So if in the course of the proceedings something arises or some information has come to you which was not initially available, for which you think that you must add, make additions or subtractions, you are entitled to do that. That is why the law makes provisions for all those things to happen. That is not an illegal action. So the fact that you are conducting
when
a
it
case,
becomes a lot more often.
no, but
it's not worrying.
It is not being said that this has happened in one case severally. You understand? You know, there are numerous cases. So if it has happened in one or two cases, it shouldn't be the case that it's something that is often done by the Attorney General. Withdrawal of cases, you know, filing fresh charges and all that, they are normal things that we do. Even at the lower courts where the police do the prosecution, they do it on a daily basis.
Okay.
So it is not unusual at all. It is just because these are high-profile cases, and when it happens, then the other side will think that, they do not have a case. And this is all what is bringing about the politicization of the matters before the court, which shouldn't happen.
I'll give you a minute to write. Let me go to Lawyer Benedicta. I've left her for a while on Zoom. Lawyer Benedicta, and I want to ask, the handling of this case, this alleged corruption case, of the former finance minister, if there are other cases in the U.S. of this nature, what are the ways that the U.S. authorities handle it in that jurisdiction? And what better ways could government liaise with the U.S. authorities to expedite action on his extradition so that this case is brought to its finality?
Awesome. So I'm going to answer that. You had previously asked about DOJ's or the US saying that it hasn't been sent to any court. So I'm going to actually, if I may, I'm going to actually read you what the US and the DOJ's manual says about this process. So I'm reading from the Justice Manual, section 9.15.700, the process that it should take. So number one, and my partners articulated said, I just want to give the citation to it. So it's initially made through the Department of State. Then it goes through DOJ's Criminal Division's Office of International Affairs. And then they go through the paperwork and make sure it meets their standards. And then when they determine that everything is in compliance with the treaty requirement, then they would then transfer it to a district court, a district court judge who also goes over everything and makes sure that it meets the standards, and then they rule on the basis, right? And they look for certain things in that. After that hearing, then Department of State also signs off before the matter is concluded. So this takes a process. This is not something that is done in 2 days. And to answer your question, it looks like the Ghana government is in the process of doing this the way that it should be done. And it looks like they're following everything step by step, just that it's taking longer time. But these things typically take this amount of time.
Well, that's quite worrying. So nothing can be done about shortening the time frame for this to happen. You know, when you put it that way, and then you look at all the promises that are made, and this is a high-profile case, which I thought that the U.S. authorities would put more, attention to, that's quite worrying.
Well, the procedures are being undertaken, right? It has to go through the Department of State, then DOJ, then it's transferred to a federal court judge, a district court judge, and then they handle the hearing, and then it goes back to the Department of State. Now, it seems that attempts have been made. However, it seems like things have not been properly filed the way that they should have. So it looks like both ends of it are doing, but the way that the courts in the US work is that if you file something that's not properly filed, they'll reject it and say file it again. So it looks like justice is being served. It looks like the process is still ongoing. And because different federal agencies are working together, there's Department of State, there's Department of Justice, then there's a federal court, the district court judge, right? And then it goes back to the Department of State. So it looks like the process is being undertaken.
Do you agree that the U.S. is interested in the case because there's an outlook that is like he's being persecuted, and so if he comes back to Ghana, justice may not be served right, and so when this happens, the U.S. may not necessarily be willing to just let him go?
So there are several things when a judge is looking at an extradition. Several things are considered. And one of the things is that, number one, whether there's a treaty, right? They look at whether there's a treaty. They look at if the crimes that are alleged have dual criminality. That means that are these things criminal offenses in the US and also in Ghana. And then they may also look to see if there are convictions. They look at it as of now. It doesn't look like there's any conviction on the record, right? They also look to see if it may be politically motivated, right? Whether this person has actually committed a crime or it's just something that is being said. And they also look at the kind of extradition, right? There's a difference between when you're extraditing somebody after the person has been convicted of a crime and you're now saying that, okay, we are deeming this person as a fugitive, so bring this person back to convict the person. So the U.S. judge, we believe, is going to do their due diligence and look through it. However, to answer your question, what they're also going to take into consideration if it looks like this is actually just politically motivated or there is something there.
And you said in 5 years he can achieve permanent citizenship in U.S. after this green card has been gotten. Does it appear that this case could drag even to those 5 years? Is there a possibility? And if that happens and he becomes a full-blown citizen of the U.S., what does that do to the extradition?
So the term that you are looking for, so permanent residence and citizenship are two different terms. So if I may just clarify, just so our viewers are not confused. Permanent residence is if you have a green card, but citizenship is something different. It may interest everybody to know that even if he becomes a U.S. citizen, it does not completely absolve him from being extradited. There are cases where people who were U.S. citizens were still extradited. So I know people are thinking that, okay, he's just going to go scot-free. No. Even if he becomes a U.S. citizen within the 5 years, if the district court judge deems that the allegations hold merit, if they have their hearing and they think that, okay, this should be done, being a U.S. citizen is not going to absolve him of extradition if he should be extradited. And to your point, generally we see these take from months to years. I was doing some research before coming on here. I haven't seen any. 5 years is a little bit long. They usually are resolved within a couple of years. However, please remember that the U.S. government will work hand in hand with the Ghana government. So, for example, if they require anything, they would expect that the Ghana government provides. If the Ghana government does not provide it, then it's also prolonging.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Benedicta, for that education. I know the lawyer Enoch Afakwa is watching us this morning, and he's texting me. I've seen your messages. Good morning to you, and thank you for welcoming me back from Germany. It was quite a trip. And, you know, when you think about that and you look at our justice system, I didn't delve into what the justice system of Germany is, but the developments that I saw, the fast transportation network, roads, as a lawyer is saying he has issues, lawyer Kodia is saying he has issues with his road. You know, it's so overwhelming when you come back to Ghana. Hey! Highway, it's overwhelming. You're like,
I don't know whether it's a highway,
wow.
It's a way, but I don't know whether it's high. Looking at the state in which we find it now.
It's a way.
So I know
that.
highway is a highway. Many
Yeah.
highways, not the type that we see in here.
I get your point. I'll give you a minute so we can move on.
Yeah, but before...
Okay.
right,
So what I want to say is that in the entire 8 years of our administration, we never addressed a press conference to say that we're going to court on these issues. Not even a single one. Not under Gloria Kufu. All the cases were reported in court. All the cases that we pressed, even those who got conviction. We had conviction in 3 cases.
You didn't have a
In the
spokesperson come out.
Yes, I'm coming. So later, at a point in time when they were conducting the cases, you get the lawyers to be granting interviews and be putting misinformation. That was the reason Wilberforce Asari, one of your colleagues who
Right.
worked here at GBC, was appointed as PRO so that he grants interviews to correct Wilberforce Mensah. Yes,
okay.
So he was really appointed a seasoned journalist, and I'm told he's also a lawyer now.
Right.
So he was appointed to really put the right information from the perspective of the state out. So it never happened. We had convictions in 3. 3 of the cases, the venture capital were at Mensah, and we had the conviction, but they paid the money. Then we had the NCA where they had to go to jail, and the Sedinam one. That is one.
Okay.
2 is that when you look at the onerous bail conditions and the issues surrounding it, even Haruna Idrisu had cause to complain that people are innocent. Why must you give stringent bail conditions? I was in court one day. A lady who made libelous statement was granted bail, 1 million Ghana cedi, in a misdemeanor. I was in court that day. Court 4. Second court 4. 1 million Ghana cedi in a misdemeanor case.
On what grounds? Maybe there is some information that we may not.
That was what the judge said, that she has been granted bail to the sum of 1 million. She's supposed to deposit a passport and Ghana card. And in the court, the lawyer told the judge that she doesn't have a passport. He said, then go and come on Monday to file for variation. So, and it was a Friday. So she was incarcerated until Monday. That he went for the variation. This is a case that happened just about a month or 2 months ago. A lady from my area, from Zongu in Kumau area. You understand? So I went to court that day, and she was granted a bail of 1 million Ghana cedi.
Was this libelous statement?
Yeah, libelous
political?
statement. Yes, political libelous statement. You understand? So
just for clarification.
Exactly. So you see, look, if you look at the cases and the numerous press conferences, when the Attorney General came and was addressing the Hanan case, he said this is the mother of all corruption. He even said it all. He said the mother of all corruption. Then he implicated the wife of Hanan that some monies were put through and so on. So you see, his press conferences, I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with that. I mentioned it, that there's nothing wrong with that. But you see, the commentaries he ran and the things that he said this is the thriller in Manila, and the adjectives he used and so on, pronouncing people guilty. That's the reason when they said Ora, I mentioned it from the first day, that it is a calculated attempt to tarnish the images of people even if they don't get convictions, so that at least the person is deemed a criminal.
It could also be an attempt to ensure that
there are people who
justice
were even
then
arrested in this country. They were arrested, kept for 8 days. Today, the case has not even started at all. Provincial, former boss CEO, he was just traveling. He got to airport. He was arrested. He was sent and spent 8 days. The state has not even pursued the case again.
All right, wow. Thank
Why?
you. Lawyer Kodia.
Yeah, but I think this Mr. Ofori-Atta conversation shouldn't also be lost in the political discourse. We should remind ourselves as a people that public office is public trust. So when you leave office, resign, or you are removed, or there is a change of government, or you go and take residence abroad, it will not cancel accountability. Once you take up public office, even in private contests, you account to people. And so we shouldn't create a situation that sounds as if when a person is invited to account for their stewardship, then it means that we are persecuting them. One, if a state doesn't do that, we will be encouraging impunity. It shouldn't also be the case that once a person who has held an office is invited, then they are guilty. That is not what our law says.
Okay.
So accountability is not guilt.
All right.
We as lawyers, we are also assisted, people, they go to places. Yesterday, I was at the National Security between the hours of 1 p.m. I left there around 8. That is, I left earlier. But there are days you leave 10, 11, thereabout.
Wow.
I told my client that assist the operatives, answer the questions. And he did. We were granted bail, we went. We should also not forget, there is presumption of innocence. So we should know how to treat innocent people. This innocence is constitutionally forged on the people. So sometimes how we deal with people, the people we call suspects, as if they are already convicted. It's not something that we need to encourage. And finally, I also want to say that whatever it is that we do, due process. Otherwise, we may always move and crash. And then whatever it is that we have built in the minds of the people would come back at us.
It looks like the other name for the due process is the wheels of justice grind slowly, is it?
Because yes, I mean, if it has to. Slowly doesn't mean that we have to intentionally move slowly.
Okay. I have to go. I have to go.
Honorable said, the nolle prosequi is standard practice and it happens almost all the time. Look at the Kolesidara case. The nolle prosequi was filed last year. Up to now, the Attorney General has not gone back to court. How is that possible? Because you see, nolle prosequi is done so that at least you file fresh cases and so on.
Has not gone back to court.
Yes, in the Sagleme case.
So now I have to give Honorable Bawedia.
The AG can say that the state is not interested.
Okay.
You understand?
He should tell us.
It's not filed so that you bring the case back. That's
So you don't bring it?
No, you don't bring it.
It can remain.
No. You don't.
Well, that's the law. That's the law, gentlemen. We'll take a short break. We're back with more. This is Current Agenda on GTV and GVC News. Stay with us.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa, we are indeed the African bank with a global reach.
Stay back and stay safe. The National Petroleum Authority is cautioning the public to desist from scooping or fetching fuel from overturned fuel tankers at accident scenes. Do not get closer to the scene in an attempt to take videos or pictures. Inhaling the petroleum product is detrimental to your health. Worst of all, petroleum products are volatile and highly flammable, and a small spark can trigger a catastrophic explosion, causing deaths and loss of property. Call the Ghana Fire Service or Ghana Police personnel to handle the scene, or reach the National Petroleum Authority's contact center on 0302 550 380. Your life is worth more than a gallon of fuel. This Save a Life campaign is from the National Petroleum Authority.
You're welcome back to the show. This is Current Agenda on GTV and GBC News. I am Altiti Saida Sadek, and lots we've been talking about with regards to the former finance minister's alleged corruption case, his green card status, and as well. We're live everywhere on GTV Ghana, on Facebook, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation as well. And this show is proudly brought to you by NPA and Bank of Africa. And so I've got some news for you. For quick fix loan from Bank of Africa, it is back. And so from now until the end of October 2026, Bank of Africa is offering short-term loans at very slim rates to salaried workers especially. We understand that you have urgent needs to sort out, and that's why we're giving you that quick turnaround time. So whether it's for your school fees, prospectus, car maintenance, or that much deserved family vacation, Bank of Africa will sort you out fast. I know we don't do a lot of vacations in Ghana, but don't be guilty about taking a break, and then contact Bank of Africa. Visit the nearest branch or chat Fafa at www.boaghana.com to sign up. You can also WhatsApp them on 0244 338 226, 0244 338 226 for enquiry. Sometimes all you need is a quick fix. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. And good morning to MP as well for sponsoring the show. You can send us your WhatsApp messages. I'm sure you see the number on your screen so that I can read it to your hearing and to my guests who are still in the studio. We're moving to the resignations, the shocking exits and resignations. But just before that, let me go to Benedicta on Zoom to take her concluding remarks on this immigration corruption issue, alleged corruption issue. Benedicta, hello there.
Yes, yes.
Great.
Hi there.
What will be your final comments just before you leave us?
Just before I leave, I just want to reiterate the fact that the green card does not totally exonerate Honorable Ofori-Atta. It's a totally different, separate legal proceeding. And even if, as a green card holder, he can still be extradited. Even if he becomes a U.S. citizen, he can still be extradited. That will be considered in a separate competent court by a district judge, and if the district judge thinks that the Ghana meets their burden, then even if he becomes a U.S. citizen, he may still be extradited.
Thank you so much for all the education you've given us this morning, and clarifying also that after 5 years, when he does even become a citizen of the United States, doesn't still do anything to null and void this case if it's going to continue being pursued. Benedicta Agyemang Esquire is a U.S. immigration lawyer. Where you live in U.S. is a very interesting name, you know, Massachusetts. That's where Benedicta is, and we heard her live. I tried. Oh, wow, you're laughing. Okay, and thank you so much, Benedicta. We're going to dive straight into the Deputy EC Chair, Mr. Bossman Asare, who resigned. Samuel Tetteh retired. Initially, I heard he had resigned, but I'm seeing that he retired honorably. And also the very big one, which is the former Chief Justice, Madam Sophia Akuffo, who resigned from the Council of State. Now, the Deputy Chairperson of the EC in charge of Corporate Affairs, Dr. Bossman Asare, resigned on somewhere in June. The announcement was made by government spokesperson Phyllis Kwakye Ofosu at the accountability series, I believe, that you saw. He also confirmed that the EC's deputy chairperson in charge of operations, Samuel Tetteh, retired from his position. Now, according to Mr. Kwakye Ofosu, Dr. Asare indicated in his resignation letter that he's stepping down to return to academia and continue his work at the University of Ghana. He further noted that Dr. Asare expressed appreciation to the President and the people of Ghana for the opportunity to serve at the EC. Mr. Ofosu added that processes to replace the two officials have already begun, disclosing that a nominee had been forwarded to the Council of State for consideration, and explained that once the Council of State completes its review, the official announcement will be made on the replacement of Mr. Tetteh, followed by a separate process to fill the vacant position left by Dr. Bossman Asare as well. Now we're hit also with Madam Sophia Akuffo, who resigned from the Council of State. In the fray of all of it is hearing that she had tendered in that resignation somewhere in 2025, I believe, and we hadn't heard anything about the issue till the media broke it, that she resigned. We've also heard Mr. Phyllis Kwakye Ofosu say that the Council of State had been engaging her when the letter was received by the President to understand why she's resigning and see if they could, you know, convince her to stay on because of what she contributes to that group and for the country. And that's what may have stalled or prolonged the public hearing about her tendering in her resignation. There have also been the sentiments that she publicly showed her displeasure about the removal of the former Chief Justice, and so this does not come as a surprise to some people. Let me go to Lawyer Kodia to begin this. What you?
I had wished that you started with
Awal.
Awal, because he knows the reasons. My spirit tells me that Awal knows the reasons. And Charles also knows.
Because he is a government. He's supposed to be a government. So
Awal is going to ignite the conversation. What he knows.
So I should agree. I should start with Awal.
I'll briefly tell you whether I'm shocked or not.
Okay.
Relative to Dr. Asare, if you went to the University of Ghana website, his name is there as lecturer political science.
Okay.
On leave.
Oh.
So leave means that you could return.
Okay.
So
it was like a second.
Yes, without prejudice to what Awal is going to tell us, he was on leave and he has returned to where
Awal
he
is
belonged.
noting it down.
Yes,
So
he's noting. What shocked me, and what has shocked me, is that of Madam
Sophia Akuffo.
Yes. More importantly, sometime last week, I was moderating a colloquium for Central University.
Okay.
And I know her to be the chairperson of the Faculty of Law Advisory Board. I nearly introduced her as a member of the Council of States. In fact, I co-moderated a program with a colleague. So when he ran through her profile and didn't mention Council of State, I was like, wow, this is not something that.
Yeah.
So when I learned that she had resigned, then I said to myself, oh, okay, so that explains why.
That
But I
was
had
it.
not learned of it. But I will not proceed. I will cede my time for
hours to begin.
to ignite the conversation, and
Okay.
then we will all come in.
Absolutely. Wow.
Okay, so thank you so much. And I think what I know is that almost all the lecturers serving in government go on leave. That I know for certain. I know a lot of them who had returned, especially when they served under Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
And again, Asihene is still doing some work with UNE. I remember last week I heard him granting interviews on things that will happen over there, but he's still with the EC because he's one of the 7.
Okay.
So I think that that's the reason you still see, because this GTA boss, what's the name? This doctor from the central region.
Current GTA
yes,
boss?
yes, yes.
Ghana Tourism Authority,
Yes,
you
yes.
mean?
Ghana Tourism Authority.
Okay.
I remember I had an engagement with him. He was my lecturer at GIG, and I had an engagement with him, and he said he's still teaching at the University of Ghana Business School.
Okay.
So he does that even if it's part-time, but it's
Right.
full-time here. Later he could return. So I'm not surprised that his name
Dr.
is over
Asari's
there.
name,
Yes.
okay.
But you see, from day one, when Dr. Bosman Asari was appointed, he had a lot of troubles with the NDC. First day when his name was mentioned, the first allegation was that he is a patron at the University of Ghana, an allegation that was never proven. He had never been part of the MPP. He had never been a member of the MPP. He had never been a patron. He had never even been at any of the TESCON programs, because
That
it's
he-
public
and then they
knowledge.
are-
That's the reason. You see, when we were even in the university over 10 years ago, we have pictures of our events and so on. But there was no single picture of any event of the MPP that Bosman Asari was there.
Did he contest in any of them? Maybe?
Never. Never. He was never a member of the MPP. He had his pronouncement. For instance, those sitting here, they are all lawyers, independent lawyers. It's only he's the only politician here. They may agree with us in some cases. They may also not agree with us in some cases. So if you put that out and say that he had said these things, and you think that it is tilted towards the MPP, so he's a member of the MPP, you're not being fair to him. You get it? And that was what they did to him. They bastardized him, said he is this. No proof was really given. He served. One day, I remember I was listening to one of the interviews on Joy FM as Edun Ketia was granting that interview. Then it was really in relation to the new register and its issues and so on. Then as Edun Ketia said, the EC is an existential threat to our democracy. Then Bosman Asari threw the words back to him and said, if there is any organization in this country that is an existential threat, then it's the NDC. Now they framed that word, not knowing what happened, and they said he says NDC is an existential threat to our democracy. And this is something that every NDC person will say. But when you listen to that interview, it is him throwing that words back. As a communications person, I will never do that, because the moment you do that, your basic training is telling you that if a dog bites a man, it's not a news,
yes,
but
when a
you
man
understand?
bites the
Because
dog.
if Asiedu Nketia says anything against the EC, if you have to throw his words back to him, yours will be news and his will not be news. You understand? So over the years, since he started working as deputy EC, he had faced all these challenges, especially him. Even though it is together with Asihene and the EC chair herself, but he had a lot of troubles with specifically the NDC. At a point in time, he had troubles with us as well. I remember at a point in time, I even said it publicly, it was even reported, that indeed, I think now I agree with the NDC that they should reset. Especially when he went to Parliament and said they were left with 3 polling stations to collate for the Abilékuma by-election. Then he went to Parliament, said all these things, that they don't have any challenge. They are left to, they only needed the police protection to go and do that. Then later, they are saying that, they came with a communication that they are running 17 polling stations. I said, why? You went to Parliament and told our representatives this, but why do you do this and so on? So all these things happen. So if you look at the government, the posture of the government from 2025. After they won the elections, Asiedu Nketia went to some media tour. He came here. He was on all stations. And he said the EC, 3 people at the top of the EC are not fit for purpose. These were his words that cut across almost all the interviews.
Who do you blame if there are problems in an institution? The leadership, obviously.
Yes. So I'm saying that. He said they are not fit for purpose and must be removed. He mentioned it on Joy News. He mentioned it on Unia. He mentioned it here and on Radio Gold and so on. Okay. After that, we saw 7 different petitions for their removal, the removal of the 3. 7. It was, the president had to forward it to the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice picked it and started work on it and did not find prima facie in all the 7 charges against them. Okay. So now, they are almost free now until another petition is presented. Then when I heard that he has resigned,
I want you to hold your fire so that we'll take a listen to what the government spokesperson said. Then you can speak on that.
First issue relating to reports of the resignation of Justice Sofa A.B. Akufu. I can confirm that indeed Justice Sofa A.B. Akufu has resigned from her position as a member of the Council of State. She submitted a letter in September 2025 to the president indicating her desire to resign. She did not disclose the reason for wanting to resign. When the president received the letter, he was required then to indicate his acceptance of the resignation. But at the behest of the Council of States, he had to hold on because they said they wanted to engage Justice Sofa Akufu to see if there was some grievance that she had that was informing the resignation and whether or not there was a way that it could be addressed. So they asked the president to hold on with the acceptance. But they got back and said that they had engaged, and as far as they were concerned, the resignation could be accepted. So the president has formally accepted her resignation, and she's no longer a member of the Council of State. Regarding Dr. Bosman Asare, I can also confirm that he has submitted a letter to His Excellency the President, indicating that effective 31st July 2026, he would resign his position as Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission. He gives a reason for his resignation, which is that he wants to go back to academia and pursue his career as a staff of the University of Ghana, and conveyed his thanks and appreciation to the President and people of Ghana for giving him the opportunity to serve in that capacity.
That's the government spokesperson, Mr. Felix Kwachio Fusu, and he talked about Madam Sofa Akufu and Dr. Bosman Asare a while, and he says that by July 31st, 2026 is the date that he says that he's resigning and going back to academia.
Yeah, so I'm saying that if you look at the chronology from day one that the NDC came to power, and the most senior-most party member in the party, that is the national chairman, who goes to cabinet even though it's unofficial, is telling you that the man is not fit for purpose. And there was a follow-up with petitions and so on. There's a calculated attempt to hound all of them out of office. So when this thing ended, he feels that in order not to remain, that's what I believe, in order not to remain for another petition to come for me to be removed, it's better I bow out honorably. Because whatever be the case, you know that the conditions as the deputy EC is better than being at academia. And again, the honor, everything, not assumption. If you look at the condition of their condition of service, they are lecturers here. Their condition of service is far better. You understand? It's better. You understand? And again,
job satisfaction.
Yes,
that's what I mean.
You see,
okay.
It depends.
Yes, it comes to job satisfaction. When I finished my PhD in the UK, University of Surrey, one of the best universities in the world.
We hear you.
In the world.
Yes. Yeah. When I finished, I was taken on. I taught there for 2 years.
Okay.
But after that, I decided that I would come home. I had options I could stay in the United Kingdom. I got another job offer at the Copenhagen Law School in Denmark, and then another one in Australia. Then I told myself, look,
I just want
I've
to be
had
here.
enough. I want to go home.
But you'd have been paid better.
We're better.
there.
Yes, we're better.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
we're
That's the
better.
point
Yes.
I'm
So
trying
that's
to-
what I wanted to do as a person, because I've been working for outsiders.
Okay.
But I just felt that, well, you've done enough for the outsiders. Why don't you come home?
Okay, and do it for
And
your
here,
people.
I feel more satisfied than the money I was getting.
So
it's relative.
That's all,
about
it's job
satisfaction.
It even buttress my point. My point is that the condition is everything over there at EC is better.
Okay.
But job satisfaction, you are in the office and every day the senior most person in the party is saying that go. The one who goes to cabinet every day at cabinet meetings is telling you that we don't need you as a referee. Definitely, if you have conscience, you think that I have to go back and go and stay at the academia where I can freely even speak. Initially, he is someone who you can call here to grant interviews on every issue, just like we invited them here. But when he got there, you cannot call him on any issue, because the moment he expresses his opinion, they will read meanings into it, that because he's for this or he's for that and so on. So I believe that there is a calculated attempt to really remove them from office. It failed through the right processes, and he feels that it's the best time to leave, so that at least he leaves a mark. And this is the first time a deputy EC, a high-profile person like that, is leaving the office voluntarily. And I think this is something that we have encouraged over time, that if you are in public office and you think that the conditions there are not good for you, the best thing is that you have to leave. Don't sit and think that the things that I have is enough to keep me there, so at least whatever they say in Ethiopia, you do that. And if you are hounded out, look at Charlotte Osei and Georgina Opoku-Amankwah and the late Amadou Sule. When they started their infightings, because before the petition went, Georgina Opoku-Amankwah accused Charlotte Osei of breaching some procurement laws and so on, making herself procurement officer and so on. It was just, they were trading words on social media and on Ghana Web. When they started that and the petition were there, I felt that at that point in time, if they had resigned today, they will have their dignity. But now they were removed on stated misbehavior. So getting to some other offices will be difficult for them. But today, he can still be appointed back as the chair, because at least there were processes to remove him. It didn't work out. Now he's bow out.
Okay.
He's in academia. He can come back and serve in any office. But today, if you appoint Charles Osei to any office or Georgina Opoku-Amankwah, there will be issues. People will still have to talk about it and so. But he can come back and do it. So I think it's a good thing that he has done. And I encourage almost all these people who are Article 71 office holders, because you see, that office, if he had retired in that office, he retires on his salary. Yes, but as a lecturer, you don't retire on your salary. But he will have retired on his salary and go on retirement and be enjoying the salary until he dies.
And he still chose to leave.
But he chose to leave.
Okay.
So I think it's a bold thing that we have to commend him for doing that.
So what is your reason, or what do you know that we don't know is the reason for his resignation?
But I mentioned it
Is
publicly.
the academia?
No, not the academia.
Is the processes to
yes,
remove
you see,
it?
the government is not comfortable with him sitting there as the EC chair, vice chair. The government is not comfortable, and they had done a lot of process. I didn't mention the other people who mentioned that he has to be removed within 6 months or 7 months and so on, because they are low-profile people. Deputy General Secretary Mustafa Bandi and others made a lot of disparaging comments about him and so on. But when you have the national chairman himself saying that this man is not fit for purpose and must leave, I think the condition is not good for him. And the best thing is that it's
and
better.
even though they supervised and the NDC won the election, but they also mentioned a lot of discrepancies that happened, and you have said it as well.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
of
That
when
if
you
you're
went to
doing that way,
Parliament.
you remember Afarijan, we celebrate him as one of the best.
Okay.
But he didn't also get it just like
Perfect
that.
all the
You
time.
had all the political parties attacking him. When you have one-sided attack, that is dangerous. The moment you see that everything is one-sided, that's why I told you that even we had issues with him. It
so
means
it's not one
it
side.
means
Okay.
it means he was discharging his duties well.
Right.
That's the reason we had issues with him, and the process to remove him also failed.
Okay, let me bring in the honourable. You haven't spoken on Sophia Kufu a while, so
Yes,
but
sure
let me.
so that,
okay.
because Sophia is also
I ceded my time because I wanted to wait for
Yes, I was-
the reason
You see, that's why I deliberately
which
asked him.
he has done.
I asked him in the
Yes,
end again. what the
and I
reason.
also like how creative Awal has been relative to this EC story and then the Charlotte Osei removal. Maybe I would also want to add to what Awal said, that before the infighting, the NPP had also called for their heads, if you remember.
Yes.
So we also have to put
No,
that.
the head of Charlotte.
Charlotte, yes,
Not
Charlotte.
Georgina. And but you see, when the issue came that Amadou Sule had done some illegal transfers, because that was what Charlotte was saying, for the NDC.
And it was
took
good
money.
news
You understand?
now for
Not
the,
good news.
the party to
no, but you
carry
see,
out
the
whatever
moment you
it was
say
that-
this, procurement breaches,
It helped their
illegal
case.
transfers,
Yes.
and so on,
Yes.
definitely they are not fit to be there. Because one of the criteria is that the person must not be politically aligned before the person is appointed.
We were also not comfortable with they being in office. Agreed.
Yes, that's true.
Yes,
That's
good.
true.
And that is what I want to Martin,
Build
to
your
this
point on,
country.
right.
And it's normal. I mean, it's a human phenomenon. Teams don't like referees, especially when they think that this referee might not. Yes. And I think that sometimes we overdo the things that we do to them. Some of these people, if not all, are very decent, honest, hardworking, and honorable men. And so sometimes we have to spare them the agony that they go through. I have been associated with every election in this country. I was young when I was picked to be part of the team that compiled the 1992 register. And I remember those days where I was. People thought that because we were picked under a certain regime, we were members of that political party. 1992.
Okay.
I remember when the day of the election, people passed by and were insulting us. Some people were even threatening us. Then came 2000. All the things that we said. But we all know that in 2000, notwithstanding the fact that the government was in power, the government has been there, pre-democracy, and then during democracy for 8 years. Still, there was a change in government. The MPP came. 8 years, with all the state apparatus and resources and whatever, still, he lost. Then comes 2016, then 2024. So at least it should tell us something. That it is normally or more of the people exercising their will than a personality trying to fix an election in favor of a political party. We believe that as humans, there may be imperfections, there may be infractions, irregularities. But generally, I believe that every election that has been recorded, every result of an election that has been recorded, reflected the will of the people.
Including the ones that headed to court with the petition.
Because, Marty, to you, you know that as media, we monitor the elections. We send correspondents to the election grounds, polling stations, collation centers, and then to the strong room.
Right.
And more often, the direction as to who has won the election always coincide the results that is declared by the media and that of the EC. Sometimes the difference may be in
Just
terms of the
minute.
figures,
Right.
but as to who has won, well, it has never happened that the media has said that, oh, it was doctor that won based on our results, and then the EC has come to say something differently. I have monitored every result, either as an EC, a recruited person, or as a media personality.
Okay.
And so please, Awal and Charles, it is good that you criticize, but don't create, it's because sometimes it creates a certain kind of hatred for the people. People lose confidence in some of these people, accepted to be in those positions for the love of the country. They could have been doing whatever it was, that maybe earning more, earning money like Doc was earning money somewhere. They decided to come and serve. So please, when you go back, tell your people that it's good that you criticize, and sometimes you have to tone down so that you don't demonize some of these people.
Absolutely.
Well,
Let me put Honorable idea. Honorable, let me just put out the WhatsApp number in case our viewers want to reach us. 053 110 1315, 053 110 1315. You have it on your screen as well, but 053 110 1315 is our WhatsApp number. You can send us what your questions and your thoughts about what my panelists have been saying. Honorable.
Yeah, so I think that was when Asara's resignation has come willfully. No coercion whatsoever from any corner. And one good thing about his resignation is that he has provided the reason, which is that he wants to go back to the classroom, the lecture hall to teach. That has avoided, people trying to read in reasons, trying to find reasons why the Deputy Electoral Commissioner would have resigned. So I want to thank him for that. Indeed, it is correct that his appointment raised concerns in certain sectors of the political divide. And it's also correct that there were petitions seeking to remove him. But after the Chief Justice, to whom the President referred the petitions to investigate and assess whether a prima facie case had been made against them, concluded that none had existed, the matter ended there. And everybody was good to go. And now he has tendered in his resignation. And when he mentioned in it that it was for purposes of going back to Lagos, I sought to do some research to find out why. This is what I found. Dr. Bosman went to the Electoral Commission on secondment. Now, by the provisions of the conditions of service of lecturers of public universities in Ghana, if you go on secondment, it will be for an initial 2 years. It can be renewed. But in all, it should not be more than 5 years. You can find that in the clause 7, bullet 4 of that document. It's a very short one. I want to read for purposes of education.
Right.
It says that an SMA, that is a senior member academic, that's for lecturers, may be seconded to another institution following due process. A seconded SMA remains an employee of the university and must conduct themselves bearing cognizance of this. Salaries and other emoluments are the responsibility of the parent university. However, in the event that secondment amounts to an increase in total emoluments, the seconded institution shall absorb the difference. And now the most relevant provision. An SMA is expected to return to the services of the university on completion of the secondment. The initial duration of the secondment shall be 2 years. Any extensions will have to be discussed and negotiated, provided that the total period spent on secondment does not exceed 5 years. If the secondment or any extensions requested would keep the SMA away from the university for more than 5 years, that's a total of 60 calendar months or 10 semesters, the SMA would be required to resign their positions. Failure to do so would amount to vacation of post. So clearly, Dr. Bosman still has interest in academia. And if he goes beyond the 5 years, that will amount to vacation of post, and for which he cannot go back to the university unless maybe they re-engage him.
Okay.
So being that his passion is teaching, and having served the nation in his capacity as Deputy Electoral Commissioner for some time now, he decided, look, let me go back to academia. So the conditions under which he is contracted to the University of Ghana did not permit him to go beyond what their conditions of service had provided.
Okay.
So clearly, this was the reason for which Dr.
So he was
Bosman
comfortable.
Umbrella is not in it at all.
No, there's nothing
He was comfortable.
Our is not here.
I'm checking because
let me conclude.
Okay.
If I may just conclude.
Okay.
It comes back to the same discussion regarding job satisfaction that we discussed. So it appears that Dr. Bosman Asare is more satisfied training the youth of Ghana, teaching the youth of Ghana, than, being in the electoral commission.
But Charles, you also agree with me.
Yeah.
There are times people could give reasons, but beneath those reasons,
There are reasons.
the real reasons.
Well, that will be speculation.
Yes.
And
But
that's
especially-
why I
yes.
asked that so you don't believe that, as Awa mentioned, the processes to remove him made him unsatisfied at the EC position.
Well,
And
we can't
that's
tell. We
why-
cannot tell for now because he didn't say so. He didn't say so. What he has said, and expressly so documented, is the effect that he is doing so because he wants to go back and teach. And I've referred to the document which will require him to resign because he still has interest in teaching because of his conditions of service. So it has nothing to do with somebody behind the scene coercing him or being dissatisfied by an action of any particular political party.
And to make it look like he was tilted to a certain party, and so your party or your administration is not comfortable with him
No,
in
I
that
concede
situation.
that there were expressions of discontent by political parties, especially the NDC, about his perceived allegiance with the NPP. That is a concession. And even petitions were filed.
Right.
But those petitions did not meet the threshold. And the matter concluded when the Chief Justice returned a verdict to the effect that no premier facie case had been made. That matter ended. Okay. And after that, no other person has filed any petition. So there was no longer any issue for which Mr. Asare should resign, citing it as a basis for resignation.
Let me take the...
I think his interest in academia is more the reason that influenced the resignation.
Right, that concluded. Let me pick Lawyer Jinde's thoughts. Then I'll come back and do a round on Sophia Kufu, Madam Sophia Kufu. Lawyer Jinde.
Well, I think we should commend Dr. Bosman for what he's done, because in our part of the world, you really see some of these things. People want to cling on to power no matter whether their presence is necessary, relevant, or whatever. Okay. But here is the case. We've gotten to a place where people are beginning to realize that, well, it's time for me to move on. I don't have to be coerced. I don't have to be compelled or forced. So if he has done that, I think we should commend him. And I also hope and pray that it should not only be limited to Bosman Asare, the EC, and I also want that to be extended to the politicians, both FPP and NDC. In case you are a minister, then you don't agree with a certain government policy, you can resign based on principle.
Oh, Lawyer Jinde, you expect that to happen?
Well, we expect that.
Yes. Except that it's not widespread.
Yeah, very, very minimal. Very minimal.
She resigned.
But there were certain circumstances behind it.
The president was not even happy when she resigned. If you look at the acceptance,
he was
not even happy. So she was not really forced to resign. The person who was forced to resign is Jifa Ativo. When the press bus branding case came, she was forced to resign by President Mahama.
But there are countries like Equatorial
She
Guinea.
resigned. There was any force. Given the public outcry about the scenario, it was only proper and just that you should resign.
No, it was established that they fleeced the country 1.7 million Ghana.
No.
And she presided over that.
I want to claim my time.
Those allegations were made and were being investigated.
No.
If they were being investigated, why should she?
So I think
I've brought it to the part of this table. Lawyer Judy, I'm hearing Equatorial Guinea's prime minister and some ministers resigned because they said they were giving.
I'm talking about Ghana.
Yeah.
The government and bloc resigned.
I'm talking about Ghana.
Yeah.
This is what we want to see.
President resigning in Ghana. I don't think.
I mean, those who have resigned, the
ministers are
ministerial
very
resignations, they are not very
minimal. Yes.
So if you are in a position as a
When your
politician,
ministry, your sector
Yeah.
is not
you can resign.
Yes.
Very minimal.
Hans came close to, according to the hours, and he came close to resigning as
And that is why I
Professor
expect that
Thomas,
now the current
expected of Oriental to resign. When it was clear that the economy.
Otherwise, Ken must go.
Yeah, Ken must go.
Then I'm also,
He remained.
then I'm also insisting that now, if you look at the battle between the minister for Agric and then the finance minister, sometimes I ask myself, the minister of finance put up a certain figure, and then the minister for Agric comes to contradict it. What we know, what we are hearing from the grapevine, that there is this power struggle within the NDC. Very serious power struggle within various. I've been a journalist for some time, so we have our ears on the ground. So if that is the case, you say, oh, because I need money to do this, and because of ABC, I'm not getting the funds to execute my project as a minister. What do? You resign.
The Agric minister should resign. What shows that if a
No.
Okay.
I'm just painting a scenario. Not only the Agric minister, even according to our sources, even the minister for education, he also has some issues, allegedly, with the minister of finance. And because of this ambition, maybe someone does not want him to perform, and in the end, outshine him. These are all going
Very
on.
interesting, wild allegations. Very interesting, wild allegations.
You can recruit 90,000 teachers.
Wow,
today.
they're saying that recruiting, and that translates into the fact that translates into him having, no.
He didn't say he can recruit. He said Ghana Education Service needs 90,000.
Yes.
But he was only given 7,000.
Wow.
He said Ghana Education Service needs 90,000 teachers. But
the finance minister,
the budget can carry.
There's a limit to which the budget can take.
So
If
we
you
have
recruit more and you
budget
cannot pay,
limitations.
you come back to a situation where the people will go pecking at the finance minister, at the minister of
That they've not
education,
been
they want to be
paid.
paid.
Can I finish my point?
Go ahead, please.
So what
Najinde.
Yusuf said, what I read was that he said they need 90,000. But he didn't say they want to recruit 90,000. These are two different things.
Right.
These are the needs and then our intention to recruit.
So
So I think
we
some of these
definitely need
things-
more teachers.
some of
We
these
need
things,
more nurses.
Politicians might also learn that, well, in case I feel I'm not performing as I should. If you think that you are not living to your own personal expectations, you are not getting the full, because if you take up any job, what you want to do is to leave a legacy. So that if the circumstances and the conditions are not allowing you to do or to leave the legacy that you want to leave behind you, the best thing is to resign.
And also take a bow when the applause is loudest. Sometimes, even when you are doing so very well.
Yeah.
And then to Charles, you could be your constituency's favorite. But after some time, you may feel tired. Then decide to, step down.
Honorably
and let
step
some
down.
younger one come.
Honorably.
I have
So
just
that
entered.
they will not. So that when you have done it he wants to stop me in my tracks so that no younger person will start nursing an ambition that they want to.
So definitely at the appropriate time.
So I think it's a good lesson that
yes.
Dr. Bosman has provided. The politicians should also learn from it. I think this is what I will say for now.
Okay.
But as far as the other one is concerned, the former Chief Justice.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no. I don't see the newsy part of it. Where's the news here? Someone is a member of Council of State, and she says, "I've resigned." No. Well, no. It's newsy, but there shouldn't be any controversy. You can find the news element. Former Chief Justice, member of state, she's resigned. Fine. You just but it shouldn't develop into a controversy.
Doc, wait till we hear a while, because that is where the controversy
Yes,
is
that's
coming
where the
from.
controversy stems from. It's true. It's true. Okay, Doc.
Because he's putting down the controversy.
It's your
I'm
turn.
seeing-
What allegations do you have to make?
Just
We are in
conclude,
court.
just to conclude on Bosman, just a minute on
Oh, wow.
Bosman.
I don't really
Bosman
have time.
had
oh.
job security at EC. He could have resigned and continued. The 5 years mandatory is there, that is true. But you see, all lecturers, every lecturer who is appointed to public office goes on secondment because they don't know the conditions they are going to meet. So when they reach the 5 years, they either resign or they return back, as he said. But in this case, I have given sufficient reasons to tell you that indeed Bosman did not really bow out because he wanted to really
Loves
be
teaching.
a lecturer.
Okay.
He got out because the applause is louder today that tomorrow he can still move back to public
Okay,
service.
wow.
He's afraid he will be removed.
Let's talk of Sophia
On
Akuffo.
Sophia Akuffo, former CJ. You see, one thing is clear that we have 3 former Chief Justices that are living today. We have Georgina Wood, we have Eni Yeboah, then her. Now, it is by law that a former CJ is appointed on Council of State. Whether you like him or you don't like him, you have to appoint one of them.
Okay.
When the NDC won the elections, one of the things that we said, I even posted it on my Facebook page, that she will be appointed. The reason being that because she had to picket against our government at the Ministry of Finance, and she granted a lot of interviews and so, and her commentaries and everything were used against us, that your former appointee has even said that the economic conditions in the country is worse. So leave the scene. So when it happened, at a point in time, our people were angry at her. A lot of our people were angry at her. The NDC celebrated her. So when her appointment came, it was not a surprise to all of us, because we predicted that indeed in the 3, she will be the favorite. Looking at, because the 3 of them were appointed by an MPP government.
Her monies were
Interesting.
locked up, and
No, I'm
it's
saying
just
that-
like everybody else.
That's true. I didn't begrudge
As
her.
Chief Justice.
Yes.
Yes, I'm
Chief
saying that
Justice.
almost all the 3
It's a
Chief
high-
Justices who the former were appointed by MPP government. Interesting. Georgina Wood, Eni Yeboah, and her. But you see, the one we believe, or they even believe, will be closer to them, will be her because of that event, through when their monies were locked up and so on. So it was no surprise to us. When she took over and the issues of removal of the Chief Justice came, that was when we were testing whether indeed she loved this country or she will bow to political leanings or something. She was the only person that it was reported that she said there was no prima facie in the charges that was sent to the Council of State to really advise the president on. When she told them in that sitting, they put it into vote and she abstained. It was reported that indeed 30 people voted and she abstained.
Okay.
She didn't end there. When the Justice Kwamai committee sat, she, together with Nana Dr. SKB Asante, the committee of experts that wrote the 1992 Constitution, went to make presentations to say that the government is not charting the right path. They went and made that presentation that indeed the removal of a CJ because of an allowance is wrong, and it is not really giving us the good name as a country. She protested that.
Well, she's former CJ.
Exactly.
it's
So
not-
she protested because
it didn't come
she
to
was
us
the
as a
chair.
surprise, is it?
She was the chair of the committee that is supposed to find the prima facie, and she told them that per my technical expertise, I believe it doesn't merit a removal of a CJ. She followed it up with a presentation at the committee. They went ahead and removed her, and she resigned. Because she resigned last year after a removal.
She resigned in September.
So for you, that resignation was because of the removal of the former CJ?
Yes, because she stood her grounds and told them at Council of State that I don't think she should be removed. Then she went and did a presentation. When the president announced her suspension, she was still hopeful until the current CJ was appointed and fast-tracked. Because when I say fast-tracked, there were cases in court that were pending that you could have remained as acting until the cases end. The government was hell-bent on removing her and replacing her with the current CJ. So when it happened, she resigned, and it was within the same period. In September, that was when she resigned. So she resigned because she feels that the removal of the CJ by the government, it is not something that will serve the interests of this country.
It's not just because of solidarity to a profession that she has roots with.
Every lawyer on this table will tell you that the remover, unless maybe he's politically inclined, he will say the removal of the CJ on these flimsy excuses is not good for our democracy.
Every lawyer would deem the allowance issue as a flimsy
that is the only issue because you see, there were three
for the
petitions.
Chief Justice.
There were 3 petitions. The committee, why the hurry to use only 1 petition to remove her? You should have concluded all the 3. They used only 1, and that was on the allowance.
Okay.
Are you not really worried that a Chief Justice in this country was removed because she took an allowance? The allowance she didn't pay to herself. She didn't pay the allowance to herself. It was an accountant and it went through processes and so on. You here, sitting here, if someone pays, you went to Germany. When you were going, GBC is supposed to pay you an allowance, and so you're supposed to go with, I know you're not married, so
is that the case?
To go with your boyfriend or maybe a driver.
That is off track.
I'm looking at him.
Then they pay higher. then they pay higher. When you come, you only have to refund. That's all.
Okay.
And Sophia Akuffo gave that instance that she also even traveled and she was overpaid at a point, and she came and did she paid the money. She paid the money back. So Sophia left purposely. That's why Martin Amidu is saying for me the government should publish her resignation letter, because he has the information that she stated the reasons there. He should publish it in the interest of transparency, because this is the first time a member of the Council of State is resigning.
Okay, wow.
This is the first time in the history of this country. And again, let me just conclude that I wrote an article to commend her to say that her loyalty to Ghana is really higher than her loyalty to any administration, because Rawlings appointed her as a member of the Supreme Court. Then Akufo-Addo, where she cut her legal teeth, appointed her as Chief Justice. Right. But she was leading a demonstration against an Akufo-Addo government. Okay. Now she's in a government that we feel that she's comfortable. She tells them that my loyalty to the state is paramount than the loyalty to really my own public interest, private interest.
What Awal is alluding to, that the reason may be in that letter. Is it right for that letter to be made public, legally?
Well, the propriety or otherwise, as I mean, she wrote the letter. She didn't intend it for the public viewing. It was for the government. I do not think that there is need for us to know. I mean, people could resign. Awal has posited a reason. There could be other reasons. Maybe some of the reasons may even be personal. So I do not think that I would want to know exactly what. But at least we have now profiled a personality who, regardless of who appointed her, could look at the government in the face and say that what you are doing is wrong. And that will go into history. It will become fossilized in our culture, that you could have been appointed by somebody. But if the person does something that you do not agree with, you could look them in the face and say it. And that is the personality we're talking about.
Okay.
Then Awal, believing that she will be comfortable in a regime, she comes out to say that I disagree with this position. And in all the cases, they were public statements that she made. And she did it regardless of the consequences. She wouldn't be dazed by the fact that now she is Council of State member, she has to enjoy some perks, and so let me keep my mouth shut and enjoy it. Not that person. And so I believe that we all should learn from such personalities. Today we are hailing resignations, regardless of the reasons. Somebody says that, well, I am a member of the academia, I have served the country, I want to go back. I don't want to be there. Whether we rely on Awal's theories or not, the person says that I am going back to the university.
Okay.
Fine. Then also we have
Madame Sophia Akuffo.
Madame Sophia Akuffo. She says that, yes, whatever the reason was, I am resigning. I am told that when the letter was sent to the president said, I'm told that they wanted to engage her.
Yes.
That's what the minister said.
Yes, and there are people who would succumb to such engagements. But after a while, she says, no, maybe I may have thought through the reason for which I resigned, and I'm saying that I'm not coming back. I have also had occasions of resigning before. And I remember in one of such resignations, after 2 weeks, I regretted resigning. No, before your laughter dies down.
Okay.
Not because I had resigned, but not having resigned earlier.
Okay.
Because it was when I had resigned that I said, so, you know. so sometimes people will sit and ask, why did you resign? Why did you? And we thought that this had some juicy whatever. Sometimes even.
When you left the media, I was surprised.
Okay, I won't say more. I won't say more. But honestly, when I left the media, I felt relieved, honestly. Because Matiti knows it. You wake up at dawn, don't you?
We do.
You dress, you come to the studio, and then you have to undergo this makeup. After that, sometimes you may not even have to wear the same clothes because people will say, he's wearing the same. And so you have to go and change. And the stress, by the time you finish the program, you are exhausted. Hello? So sometimes, and I had done this for about 2 decades, and so I felt that, look, let me take a break.
Okay.
But you know, there is some joy sitting in the studio, and you know, but I felt that, look, so I think we need to learn from some of these characters and what they have done relative to their resignation, so that it becomes part. I think that Doc will be very, very happy if it becomes part of us. So that if you are Black Stars coach and you are losing, don't let us come and then push you, shove you, resign and say that, okay, I have resigned. Okay. You are not playing well. When you get a ball, somebody comes to take it from you. Say, tell the coach that.
I can't. Okay. We'll wrap up with the Black Stars, but let me go to Honorable Bajia. Madame Sophia Akuffo resigned, as we've all said at the table, in 2025. Why were we not told? Why was the public not told?
I think that first of all, let me say that the former Chief Justice is a woman of herself. She sees it as it is and expresses her beliefs and convictions. Even when you read her judgments at the Supreme Court, you will see that you see fairness in those decisions. So nobody can doubt her integrity or that she can be influenced externally. Now, her decision to resign and the reason for it is a matter she has not told us. Her letter of resignation too has not been made available to us publicly. So nobody is in a position now to state why she resigned and assign reasons. So anything by anybody trying to give reasons, like my friend Awal is trying to do, it's a pure conjecture.
He did or he tried to do.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. He's trying to give reasons. She said maybe these things will happen. It's a pure conjecture. And we should not engage in conjecture. Let us celebrate her as the kind of upright person that she is. She has a right to resign. The president has a right to appoint a chief justice, under Article 89 of the Constitution, the president did from the law that he had to appoint, he settled on her. She accepted and also resigned, also provided for by law. Let us celebrate and thank her for the work that she has done and leave the conjecture. Let's not draw her into this politics of trying to find reason and then muddy or taint the work that she has done over the period. So I leave it there. But the good thing is that we still have people from whom the president can make an appointment. Because Sophia came in as a former Chief Justice. The Constitution requires that at least one person as a former Chief Justice is appointed.
Right.
We still have people. We still have Feni Ebua. We still have Theodore Wood, who are still living.
So who are you bringing?
Well, I'm not the president.
Maybe give us the scoop
I
here.
would have been glad to be the president to make that choice. But unfortunately, I don't have that power. I will leave it.
If you were the president for a day.
I do not want to engage in any conjecture. Let us leave it to the appointing authority to do that, so that we can have a fully constituted council of state.
Okay.
So that the work can continue.
Thank you, Honorable. I see what you say. I want us to move swiftly to Lawyer Jinde. I thought Lawyer Jinde began his...
No, I've
okay. Okay, unless you have a minute
Well,
on
I
this.
think it's a good thing, and I think we must all learn from her.
Okay.
You see, when women are doing well, I feel very proud, because when it comes to women, it's gender bias. You know why?
Why?
All my first 3 children, they're all
women?
girls.
Oh. Beautiful.
Yeah, I have 3 girls. So sometimes when I see women doing well in various spheres of their life, I feel very encouraged that, well, if she's been able to do it, I think
Your
my children too.
will be able
So that is it. We thank her, we celebrate her, and then we are grateful for the work that she's done for this country.
Absolutely.
So let us all appreciate what she's done, and then encourage the young ones. You know, she didn't just get there by staying on TikTok for 24 hours.
Like, you have something against the TikTok.
I mean, you have to study. You have to learn. You know, she didn't just get there by chance. She put in a whole lot of work, hard work, discipline, determination. That's why she got to where she's been able to get to where she has gotten to now.
I'm sure
It's a whole conversation.
on its own, I know, and we are actually diving into an area around that, but I know that this may be a point that you would use in your lecture rooms about how Madam Sophia Akufo, who she is and how she's serving this country well. And when I talk about the TikTok and social media and all of that, because of this very unfortunate incident that happened that my guests will touch on briefly and we'll wrap up with the Black Stars, is the police picking up the 39-year-old suspect in relation to the UCC student's death, and even the UCC student's death, Vicentia, which hits the news waves just this week. Unfortunately, UCC student, we saw Honorable Edem Agbana, who spoke about how she was part of his scholarship scheme to study at UCC and how they had supported her with some fees. She was able to receive some more funding for her fees. Unfortunately, we were told that her body had washed up ashore the beaches or in Cape Coast. The police investigation preliminary revealed that on June 11, 2026, at about 6:48 p.m., the suspect who had been picked up, the 39-year-old, claims to be a teacher by profession, also worked as a driver, picked up the deceased, that's Innocentia Achupwe, within the University of Cape Coast Hostel Enclave, and took her to Hatchland Beach, where she was last seen. Investigations are continuing, and any further development, they say, will be duly communicated by the police. Her body, as I mentioned, was discovered at the Hatchland Beach area near Duakor in Cape Coast about 12 hours after she was last seen by her hostel roommate. According to the roommate, with whom she resided at a private hostel at Amamoma, a nearby community, Innocentia received a phone call, dressed casually, and left the room at about 7 p.m. on that June 11. She indicated that her colleagues became concerned when Innocentia did not return. Consequently, efforts were being made to trace her whereabouts throughout the following day. but these attempts proved unsuccessful. The late Innocentia Chupri, and our hearts go out to her family, was a level 200 Bachelor of Commerce Human Resource student and at the University of Cape Coast. There are sentiments about, you know, the region being the hub of education in Ghana and how student safety should probably be a priority. Lawyer Kodia, let me begin with you.
I remember my first year UCC. I attended UCC. And during our orientation, they mentioned the facilities the university had. The last that was mentioned was the mortuary. And then we all laughed. The reality of it hit me when one of my mates passed. In fact, two of my mates passed when we were in school. One of them was a very good friend of mine. I remember when his body was returned from Senegal, we had to be called to go and then identify him. I remember that incident. I also remember that there was this final year student, we were mates. A week before he wrote his exam, he and his friends went to swim and he passed. We are told that he was the mother's only child, and immediately after school, he was to travel to the United States. He passed. I have 3 daughters. 2 of them are in the university. One is in the final year. I remember when she was going to school, I sat her down. I said, Ebra, I beg you. You are left with only a semester. Make sure that you go and conduct yourself such that you complete this program. I put myself in the place of the parents who have lost this daughter. They have hopes for her. They have a goal for her. And now this story. I can't sit here and say that and then condemn her for going out, or because people go out for many reasons. All I would say is that it's unfortunate. And then plead with our children that if it is not so necessary, don't step out. We all remember, and I don't want to stir the wounds of one of our former ministers whose daughter, we are told, went out at night, and on her return at Okponglo Junction, a refuse truck ran over. These stories are not palatable. And I would say that I'm sad. You know, I share the grief of the parents, and they have my condolences. I believe that the other, I don't know what to say. Somebody has been arrested. From a legal standpoint, the law is settled. Innocence until proven guilty. And so we await whatever investigations that will, I believe that investigations have commenced. We will wait and then know whether it was hate or whatever reason. That's all I will say.
In discussion with your children and maybe other young people, do you think that we can do better with security? That maybe if you start feeling that your life is under threat, send a message, ask for help, send an SOS call?
Sure. At my age, 2 days ago, I was going for a meeting. And I went in the company of my clients. I don't know how comfortable they will feel when they hear this.
Okay.
On my way, I sent message to some other lawyers in the firm that I am going this way. In fact, when we got there, I generated the location and sent it to them that this is where I am. For whatever reason, I sent it to them. So sometimes we have to leave our tracks. It's very important we do.
Rajinde, because you deal with students as well, what do you have to say about this very...
It's very sad. Somebody who has such the whole world waiting for her, but only to be cut short by this unfortunate incident. My condolences go to her family, her friends, and her schoolmates. And I also add that, you see, these days you can put your own security measures in place. When you are going out, wherever you are going, let your friends know where you are going. And now there are even tracking devices. And the other thing is, at this hour of the day, 7 p.m., going to the beach. Even traditionally, after 6 o'clock, the girls come out to rest, and also we were told that after 7 p.m. you don't go to the beach.
Does this generation know this?
Well, they have to know.
That's the issue.
They have to know. They don't know because we've reneged on our responsibilities.
Absolutely.
To tell them, you see, if you begin to tell them, oh, you are Kolo, you don't.
And they are Gen Z.
They are Gen Z. They think they know it all. But sometimes this traditional knowledge and the old things that our parents used to teach us, they are still very important. So sometimes when you are going out, leave a trait that in case my friends don't see me after a certain time, they'll be able to trace. And then the person going out with you, just leave a contact, something about that person. Though I'm going out with Mr. X. And these are his contact. In case of anything, prevention. Right. Sometimes you see, the best form of security is yourself. Yeah. Because if you don't, if you are not very careful, you may fall into the wrong hand. Yeah. So me, I always tell my girl, look, even when they are going out in the evening for a disco or whatever, I tell, look, don't wear any loose thing. Wear trousers, put a belt on it, tighten it.
Security clothing.
Security clothing. And I also made them to go to undergo this karate self-defense. I paid for them to learn. And one time I tried one of them at home. I wanted to hit, and then he held my hand before I realized I was down. So we should try to, it's part of the parenting. So it's part of the parenting. It's important.
We have just a few minutes.
One day I was with my wife. We're sitting like this. Then her friend, who is in the university, called her and said you should check her WhatsApp. She checked the WhatsApp. She has screenshots the number plate of a car, a white car with a number plate, and sent her that this someone I have met on social media. He has come to pick me or going to the beach, and after 1 hour, call me. Just call me after 1 hour to find out. I was I was like, why will you even follow him? That was my point. But he said, well, she has followed him. So after an hour, she called. And she picked, and they had some few exchanges. Then they went on WhatsApp and said, oh, it seems it's cool. So I will leave in the next 30 minutes. So I was just telling my wife that, tell her to leave since she's not comfortable with the man. You see, the problem we have now is the social media. Yeah. You and I, who are in the public eye every day, faces a lot of these things. Look at the Takoradi incident.
The
girls. It was through social media that he was able to get them. Even this one, I will not be surprised. Because she's from Ketunov. But the suspect, even though he's not guilty, is also from Cape Coast, and he's a driver. You get it? So look at the synergy. A driver and that student. I'm not really demeaning anyone. But you could tell that, how would that relationship come? You understand? But on social media, everyone portrays himself as something
else.
You understand? So the person can just move out and go there. I stepped out to buy food around Asokore Mampong. A lady approached me and said, are you Awala? I said, oh, you're my friend on Facebook. I said, oh, okay. Then she took my number. Later she called me and said she wants to, this is about 2 months ago. She said she wants to go to the US to watch the football match. And she knows very well that I will be able to facilitate, even though she has all the money. She wants me to facilitate. I said, we're in opposition, we cannot help. Then she said, no. I know you meet with people like Honorable Bawa and others that at least they can facilitate for you. She was forcing me. And that's the reason someone will be able to really defraud the person easily. The fraud and the killings and other things are stemmed through social media. That's why Lawyer TK said, I agree with him when he said that one day have a very good conversation on social media and how even we in the public eye as adults will be able to really protect ourselves from these things. So my condolences to the family. Look at that course. At UCC, you needed a single number from the SS before you can even read BSc Commerce. So it means she's sharp.
She's sharp.
And a very promising student. Unfortunately, look at what happened. She didn't even go to swim. Because from all the expert narrations, they are saying that because of the way she's lying down with bra and the other things, the things were removed. Not necessarily she went there with the swimming costume to swim at night and so on.
So we should just be careful of how we also.
We apologize for the disturbing images as well. And as I said, our condolences to the family. Honorable Bao, I'll give you the last word on this and we wrap with the Black Stars.
First of all, express my condolences to the bereaved family. This is bad news for this country. These things have become so rampant. Students, especially university students, losing their lives on campuses and related activities. And I think that the university authorities need to do more in terms of educating the students regarding their security. That is very, very important. But it appears that because everybody who goes there seems to be adults, they are allowed to live their lives. But I think that given the current state of insecurity, the state of insecurity, we need to do more to provide security for the students. Social media has worsened these things. I have people calling me to say that, oh, we are friends on Facebook and that I have asked that they should send me money to get security protocol for them. I said there's nothing like that. They managed to use my pictures, create, when they say you're a public figure, create platforms, create, things that they can use to communicate with the public.
They'll block you in a real account.
Even when you put these things down, they still will go and open another account. So we must really be careful. And once people see your pictures there, your activities there, they are tempted to believe that, oh, it must be you. The wise ones try to reach me because I'm very easy to reach. They call me and say, no, please, don't attempt. Some go into it before. So we must try to educate everybody, including at the family level. Let's not leave it to the authorities. And one thing that I want to add is that the police, they should thoroughly investigate this to find out what happened. Is it that she was swimming? Is it that something happened somewhere and they just went to dump her body there? To say that she got drowned. What is it that happened? I'm sure the police will do a thorough investigation. We may find some clues regarding that incident to be able to find answers and maybe find those who are culpable to answer for these deeds.
Thank you so much. My image has been used to sell some herbal medicine. I don't know.
There's someone actively selling cars with my image. I have reported it. He has blocked me. Wow. Now, every now and then, people call me. He'll put the car and will mention 50,000 or 30,000 for a very nice car.
And it's your image. Okay, let me read the messages from our viewers and then we'll just touch on the Black Stars. So messages coming in. Thank you so much for sending them. Greetings, panel. In case of Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, Minister of Education, if he presents resignation today, I will applaud him because he realizes that his government is not fulfilling the policy that puts across the party manifesto that they promised to the good people of this country, which has been signed in social contract. This is from John. Awal agrees with you, John, that Honorable Haruna Iddrisu can resign. Somebody says, oh, great team. I like your discussion. Please keep it up, from Mr. Abu Offenso. Mr. Abu, thank you so much, all the way from Offenso. Good morning. Dr. Bosman and Sophia Kufuor's resignation is no news. The Labor Law Act 651/2003 makes provision for people to resign from their job if they so desire. GTV, your panel this morning is not balanced. Is MPP Dr. Jinde, and who contested MPP primaries on their ticket in the constituency Kintampo North, Abdul Basit Mohammed from Dura. Abdul Basit, Lawyer Jinde is here as a governance expert and a lawyer and a lecturer. Good morning, GTV show. Dr. Bosman Asare knows the reasons why he resigned. May he go and rest. After all, he is an MPP member. Well, these are your thoughts, not the thoughts of GTV or me. Madam Sophia Kufuor can go and contest in an election. That's what this viewer is also saying. But thank you for your messages. It's a very democratic, free speech country, I want to believe, where you can air your views. I will end with the Black Stars and your thoughts. So I'll give you two minutes each to round this up.
I think the Black Stars really surprised me that day, because you see, this is the only time I have seen a Black Stars where it will be difficult, even around this table, for anyone to mention first 8 of the starting 11.
because we have seen a Black Stars where the moment you mention, you can mention Sule Muntari, Apia, Asamoah Gyan, you understand. But there's a Black Stars where the nucleus is formed around some young players who are not very known in the renowned leagues and so on. So when they started playing, and especially the first half, I looked at it and said, hey, we're in trouble. And you couldn't really point to say that indeed the coach was not doing well. The coach has now proven to Ghana that now we have a coach. Over the years, the coaches don't really change their game in the course of the game. When he came the second half, he changed the game, made some 5 substitutions, and he was able to get the goal. So I believe.
Do you mean Ghanaian coaches or
the Ghanaian coach?
Foreign ones?
The Ghanaian coach, even the foreign ones that we have had in this country. Usually, we'll be playing and we'll be at the edge of our seats, wanting for him to even take out some player. Then he will be respecting that player. But look at what he did. He took out our captain, brought in a youngster, and he was able to give us that result. So we pray and hope that the next one, even if it is still 1 or even a draw, should be able to say less true. Because you see, England has one of the best squads this time around. When you check, they have never presented a squad like this in any World Cup. I don't know, in my adult life, I've not seen it.
Rashford,
so
Harry
if we're
Kane.
able to go there and even have a draw, which I am upbeat, you should start with this one. But you see, one thing that I don't want to do politics, but Honorable Bauer should be able to explain to us why they did not take local players within the league to go and play, because that was a promise.
There's a local player, I believe.
Every time there was a local player and it's a goalkeeper, every time that we have been to the World Cup from 2006, we go with one goalkeeper who is a local player. But no, but the president said it that the Black Stars, when we went to when we went to Qatar, he said
do politics.
we will use local. It's part of the promise.
Yeah, so let me start from where Awan was leaning towards. The president expressed his preference for the use of local players, but the final decision as to who is the best for a particular tournament is the matter for the coach. So we have a good coach who has started well. He selects, and the president has stayed away from intervening, which is the case. You should not have a situation where the executive should be intervening and then selecting players. Normally, when that happens, the team collapses. Now to the team itself. Now to the team itself. I think that the game that I watched, I'm very much concerned as to the future progression in this tournament.
You were very confident before that game.
Yes, I was very confident. But what I saw, I'm very much concerned. Because I thought that we should beat these people by up to 5 goals. And that was important because that is important. Yeah, I understand. Because they are supposed to be the least respected Panamanians in that group.
Right, that's true.
And we needed high number of goals after a win to be able to stand a good chance of progressing, because we are in a really difficult group. England, very difficult team. Croatia equally difficult. So if you win against Panama and it's only 1-0, chances are that other teams may also have 3 points like you have, but the number of goals scored will be the decider in deciding who will progress.
Out of the
so
group.
that really has made it difficult for us. It means now that in order for us to really stand a chance to qualify, we must get at least 1 point. And that is a draw with England, or at least a draw with Croatia. But football is football. Sometimes it's luck.
Those 2 will also count.
Yeah, that's, I understand. I understand they will count. But to stand a better chance, have at least 4 points. And then you are better placed to come. Because of the situation that about 8 third-place teams can also qualify. So that is important, makes it important for us to get at least a point in addition to our 4 points. But let's pray for them. I am sure that some magic can happen.
Magic. There's a National Day of Prayer coming up. So, Lawyer Jinde, I'll give you the last word, Lawyer Kodia.
Before I talk about the Black Stars, somebody sent a message that the panel is not balanced. Matiti, I want to make a disclosure here.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I am a very convinced, proud, unapologetic member of the New Patriotic Party.
Okay.
But when I come on such platforms, you invite me as an expert,
Yes.
as a professional. And from all my analysis, I don't think I've taken any political or I just look at it the way it is.
Me, if not that he has said it,
You didn't know.
I didn't get it from your submission, to be very honest.
That's why he sat close to you.
This one. It is the technical team.
So I'm not here on behalf of the MPP, but I'm a very proud member of the New Patriotic Party.
Okay.
My father was the Progress Party chairman for Wanchi East in
Ah.
1969.
Okay. Well,
So it goes through the family. But
Right.
when I'm here as an independent analyst.
okay.
Yeah, Buzia's time.
Yeah.
I have pictures with my father and Buzia when they were campaigning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we still have those pictures. But MP people, they don't want to even recognize that some of us exist.
Please talk of the Black Stars for me.
No.
Please talk
No,
about the
you know,
Black Stars for me.
Well, you are right. In Ghana, they don't even take your calls. You know,
Lawyer
Matiti,
Jimmy,
I have to be very
yes.
honest. After 2006 in Germany, I decided not to watch any match by the Black Stars again. Because, you see, when I follow the Black Stars, sometimes when they stand and they play the national anthem, sometimes I begin to cry, my children. They say, oh, Papa, why? I said, I don't know. When they're playing the national anthem, you see the Ghana flag.
Okay.
You have this emotional attachment to the flag. So, after we lost in 2006 in Germany, I just said, well, if I don't take time, I may have a heart attack.
Okay.
So what I do is I go to sleep when they are playing.
Right.
So I only come out to ask how much did the Black Stars score.
Unfortunately, we have to go. Unfortunately, Lawyer Kodia, a second. Is that possible?
I didn't watch the match, so I didn't see all the difficulties that people are talking about.
Okay.
All I learned was that Black Stars
Have
won.
won,
So it means that they can win again.
That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Charles. Honorable Charles Badia Esquire is MP for Bongo. Dr. Kweku Anadijine is lecturer, Gimpo Law School, corporate governance expert, lawyer Trinibua Kodri as well, private legal practitioner. Awar Mohammed, member MPP's communications team. I am Altiti Saida Sadek. I work for GTV. A happy Father's Day to all of you gentlemen on the panel and my father engineer Sadek Osman. We're back on Saturday again, but there's lots more programming happening on GTV and GBC News. Thank you to the crew and stay with us.